evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the 2021 Midwest Sim Racing Association Premier Series, the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race, live from iRacing's virtual Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Jacob Hitz with our producer, Ryan Bauer, down in the virtual production trailer, using cameras, as always, provided by the great Dougie Beard. Tonight, the best of the best go head-to-head in MSRA's hottest night. No points on the line, but all the bragging rights and cash prizes are. So bets are off, and it's checkers or wreckers for every driver in the field. And Jacob, tonight, a lot of drivers still need to race their way in. Qualifying starting for the Open, which is going to open up tonight's festivities here for the All-Star race. There's 18 hungry drivers trying to take 3 spots to race their way into the All-Star race, and then the rest are going to have to hope for that 4th fan vote.
Yeah, it's always amazing when we get to the All-Star race time, and you sort of forget that there are still spots available by the time you get there. The entire field's not set, and you also forget how many guys are trying to fight their way into this deal. You know, like you said, 18 guys fighting over 3 spots plus the fan vote. And the fan vote is the last resort for some drivers, but for others, you know, this is their last chance. They need to win a stage in this race in order to move on to the next show. Otherwise, they're going to be watching from the motorhome tonight.
And you see those stages, 15 laps for stage 1 and 2, a final lap 10 stage to conclude the 40-lap Open we'll have here tonight. The 3 winners of the stages will make their way into the All-Star race tonight. Everybody else will have to hope for that fan vote, and you can vote for one of the drivers in the Open. So if they don't qualify into the All-Star race by winning a stage, they can rely on your vote. You can head to facebook.com/Midwest Sim Racing Association. That's facebook.com/Midwest Sim Racing Association to vote in the All-Star Race fan vote. Qualifying underway now, inside 3 minutes to go here in qualifying. And Jacob, that race analysis that we saw, 2 sets of tires as well there on the race analysis. So not a lot of pit stops can be made tonight, but such a short distance and not really going to be pitting that much unless you're in between stages.
Yeah, I don't see these guys pitting too much. You know, maybe if there's a crash and you have to lock up the tires to avoid it, or if you do spin out, you know, because contact can happen, that would be a reason to come on to pit road. But really, you're not going to be pitting for tires. They're not going to be that much of a hot commodity here as if we were running it at Auto Club or Atlanta or something like that. You're not going to be sawing the tires off by the end of the first stage. You're still going to have a fair amount of grip to them, so tires aren't going to be that big of an issue. And like you said, there's small stints, small stages, so these guys don't have a ton of time to worry about it.
And something else that we haven't mentioned yet tonight, obviously we mentioned we're at the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway, the older scan of this track. We're using the new NASCAR Next Gen cars that people can see every Friday night here on Podium Esports and Next Gen Fast Fridays. But the MSRA decided for their hottest night, their all-star race, they're going to use the Next Gen cars. That's going to be another curveball at these drivers. It's not the normal Gen 6 NASCAR Cup Series cars that we're used to seeing in the MSRA Premier Series. These are a completely different animal. 5 gears, sequential gearbox, drafting completely different. These drivers have a completely different challenge than they're used to week after week.
Well, and yeah, you know, what's great about this All-Star race is it brings in the best of the best from all 3 series, the Premier, National, and the Truck Series. You don't see that in regular NASCAR. So using these next-gen cars, it acts kind of as an equalizer between everybody. Yeah, you may have some experience with these race cars, but you're not running them week after week after week like these guys are running the trucks, the Xfinity, and the Gen 6 Cup cars. So I think we're going to see a lot of guys that are really, really strong, like in the Premier Series with the Cup cars, struggle a little bit with these because these are completely different to anything that these guys have driven.
Qualifying getting ready to wrap its way up, and then we'll be going green for the first race of the night, the Open. 3 stage winners advance on to the All-Star race later on tonight, and the fan vote winner as well. Once again, if you want to vote for that fan vote, it's facebook.com/Midwest Sim Racing Association. 2 sets of tires in the pits for this race as well. 3 green-white checkered attempts in that final stage. 40 laps ready to go on deck here for the Open in the MSRA Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. We get ready to take a look at that starting grid as the field will take to the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway behind the iRacing.com pace car. It's 18 drivers on the grid here tonight. Time to take a look at where all of them will take to the grid. Brandon Davis in the number 91 will lead the field to the green. He is also our in-race reporter here on the Podium Esports. Clayton Hoffman to his outside. Chad Gunningsman, Matthew Van Gelder share row 2. Chris Severa and John Mullins are sharing row 3.
Row number 4, we've got Chris Noble and Kenny Powell. They make up that 4th row. 5th row, rounding out the top 10, John Binder and Joseph McWhorter. Then Bill Dolph, Matt Knight. They round out row number 6.
Kevin Roy, Robert Anderson share row 7, rounding out your top 15. And the drivers that took time in qualifying is the number 29 of Timothy Davis. Gary Sexton will start to his outside on row 8. Glenn Ballard, James Love, 2 Great Lakes Motorsports drivers sharing row number 9. And that will round out the entire field. Rounding out the entire field is Kyle Mollering in P number 19 on the leaderboard. Here's where we are in the world. It's Charlotte Motor Speedway, NASCAR's backyard. 24 degrees in the turns, and you can see a great look at this 1.5 mile Coliseum from the air, courtesy of our friends over at Google Earth. And Jacob, this track obviously synonymous with NASCAR racing, and the weather not too favorable for grip. 106 on that track temp. These guys are going to be sliding around as the sun starts to set.
But they're going to be facing conditions similar to the to the Coca-Cola 600, where you got the sun up now, but not the entire track is taking that sun. And as we go through this race, then once we get to the All-Star race, lights are going to be on. The track is going to gain grip because the sun isn't going to be baking the racetrack anymore. These cars are going to adapt and evolve so much over the span of these 40 laps. We're not going to see it as much in the actual All-Star race because we're pretty much going to start in complete darkness. But this is going to be big right here. This Open, these cars are going to adjust a lot.
And remember, 15 laps here in stage number 1. That stage winner will be the first driver out of the Open to advance their way into the All-Star race. Ready to go racing. Now, if you joined us a couple of weeks ago here on Podium Esports for the MSRA Premier Series VFW Memorial 600, it was a marathon to the end in that. Much less of a marathon here. Instead of 400 laps, it's 40 to complete this entire Open. And we get ready to go racing here from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. Slightly different than the Charlotte Motor Speedway we had a couple of weeks ago, as well as this is the Legacy version. All of this sets up to the All-Star Open. 4 drivers will advance their way into the All-Star race tonight. The first step to earning the money and earning the bragging rights begins here. Pace car down into the safety of pit lane, and the green flag is up in the air. We're racing from Charlotte in the Open.
Now, one thing we did not mention here before we got going is the fact that caution laps in the Open do not count. So if somebody gets lapped, they can't get the free pass because there is no lucky dog, since the caution laps do not count. So these guys need to be alert. They need to keep these cars clean. If we get a caution early, we're still going to have that many laps left. We're not going to see anything under caution as contact already for second.
Everybody fighting for positions. Shades of Daytona and Talladega out there on the track in these next-gen cars. It's Brandon Davis in the 91. Early lead in that Jags Ford Mustang. He's going to try and pull away as they come back through turns 1 and 2. Everybody lines up behind. It's Davis ahead of Hoffman, Severa, and Mullins, and Gunningsman go side by side battling for number 4 on the racetrack. Gunningsman for Frontline Esports will have it as they enter into turn number 3 and the 53 shuffle back.
He got moved out of the way by Hoffman for the lead. We got trouble. One car around off turn 4. Robert Anderson, James Lowe piles in, and Timothy Davis sneaks his way through. He about spun the last time off of turn 4, and this time they crash off turn 4, and it all started right from the top of the grid.
Brandon Davis in the 91 issues for their fastest qualifier. Hoffman dove it to the inside. That slight contact moved the 91 right up to the wall, and that sent him right to the back. On board with Timothy Davis, you can see splitting the middle of the number 91 and the number 14 as they went spinning. That was Robert Anderson in the 47 that got involved in that one, along with the number 14, and it looked like just a slight bit of contact in between those two. Entering the corner, the 14 just went straight up the track, slight contact to the 47, sent the 47 back down into the 14, and both of them went around on the exit of turn 4. So 2 laps down and completed here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are now under the yellow flag, and remember, caution laps do not count. So that means that the field is frozen, the laps are frozen. We will wait until we go back racing for those caution laps to begin to count once again. But out in front, it will be the 12 of Clayton Hoffman, Chad Gunningsman in second place, Severa, Mullins, and Van Gelder are going to round out your top 5. And Jacob, that was just a slight taste of what we're going to see tonight. It looked like, and we talked about it a little bit earlier on, it looked like what we saw in the All-Star race in 2018 with the soon-to-be package that they're running now in the NASCAR Cup Series, where it was a lot of pack racing out there on the track and a lot of moving around and a lot of beating and banging as well.
Yeah, these guys aren't really used to driving in a pack with these cars at this racetrack. They figured out that this track is a lot more narrow than they may have thought when they were single file, and we saw it happen time and time again there, where these guys just make a little bit of contact, and that's all it takes. There's only so much room for these guys to go in the corners, and things get stacked up.
Well, we have our in-race reporter in here with us now. It's the 91 of Brandon Davis. And Brandon, obviously we saw you get slightly moved out of the way there, a little bit of contact with Hoffman. What are your thoughts on that contact as you went through turn number 4?
It's just racing. It's going to happen. We're all racing for the same spot. I don't expect anything less.
So that's going to move you further down the order now on the leaderboard. Do you think you can get all of those spots back and end up contending for the open win, or at least one of the stage wins, to try and race your way into the All-Star race?
We'll have to work our way up. I'm pretty confident we can get up there by the end of the race.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Podium Esports here in stage number 1. Hopefully we're talking to you as a stage winner and making your way into the All-Star race a little bit later on.
All right, thank you.
That was Brandon Davis. We'll be talking to him throughout the Open tonight as our in-race reporter, and we'll also have an in-race reporter for the All-Star race later on tonight. That will be Alan Dobbs that we'll talk to throughout the All-Star race here tonight. Field back 2x2 behind the official iRacing.com pace car, and we'll be heading back to racing here at the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. Caution laps not counting here in the Open, so that means we'll be going back green on to lap number 3. 13 laps to go in stage number 1, and 13 laps before we know the first driver from the Open advancing to the All-Star race. Green flag back in the air. They storm past Barney the flagman and head down into turn number 1. It's Hoffman leading the way, single file top 4 spots as they dive into 1 and 2.
And it takes these guys about half a lap to get fully up to speed and get these things completely wound up. Once they do, the draft is in full effect, and these guys are all over each other like cats on Velcro as Severa peeks to the inside. Hoffman won't let him do it quite yet as they come through 3 and 4, top 5, almost the top 10, single file through 3 and 4.
Chris Noble going to make a noble dive up to the inside of John Mullins there for P4. The 64 Canterbury RV machine up on the outside, the 53 on the inside, and the 64 going to get stuck on the outside line now. 2 cars storm past him on the bottom. Mullins falls to 6th, might fall to 7th. He will fall to 7th, is now on the inside as Joseph McWhorter running down the back straightaway. The 53 is on a mission. He dives to the inside of one other car, but he slams the door. He tried to get to the inside of the 97 at Gunningsman. Door slammed on him. He'll stay in P4.
And him lifting there so he didn't run over Gunningsman. It's going to cost him for a little bit. He's going to have to rebuild that momentum to try and get another shot at it. He might get a good shot down the back straightaway, depending on the drafting help that he gets from Bender as well. What a save by Chris Noble. An incredible save off of turn number 2. He's going to lose half a dozen spots, maybe more. 3 wide into turn number 3. Almost makes contact with Kenny Powell. But Chris Noble, with the hands of the race, he's still sideways through turn 4, and he's able to hang on to it again.
That car is loose. You can see it just stepped away from him. No contact with anybody. The car just stepped away on the exit of turn number 2. And again on the exit of 4, he'll fall down to P13 on the racetrack. The Houston, Texas driver from FSM Racing falls way down the order now to P13. Back up to the battle for the lead. On board, Chris Severa in the number 62. Gas and Go Racing driver from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right on the back bumper. The 12 of Clayton Hoffman looking for the lead. We have roughly now about 9 laps to go here in stage number 1. Racing for that stage win. Who will be the first driver to advance their way into the All-Star race from the open? On board a little bit further back, the 89 of Kevin Roy. Closer to the back end of this lead line. We can call it a line. All of them single file. Shades of Talladega like we saw last night in Next Gen Fast Fridays presented by McConey Setup Shop. Couple of drivers trying to peek to the inside. Nothing happening yet as we're halfway through the stage.
Here comes McWhorter. He's got a good run off of 2. He's going to pull to the inside of Gunningsman for 3rd. Doesn't have any help. Here comes Bender to help him now. So Gunningsman under fire, and McWhorter's going to take the spot away. A little bit of pinching through 3 and 4. Looks like McWhorter's going to be able to get the better momentum off the inside, but they're still even at the stripe.
2 by 2 as they're side by side for that 3rd spot. Top 2 pull away. That's Hoffman and Severa. McWhorter now to the inside.
Oh my!
Falling way down the order in the middle, it's Chad Gunningsman. He loses the car in the middle of the line, goes right through, down into P number 8, and is going to fall to Kenny Powell as well. The 7 to the outside looking for the spot. Here's a replay of what happened in the 97. Was another instance of getting loose? Yes, it was. A great save, but went right down the middle of 2 cars, and now right back trying to fight to hold on to P number 8 with the 7 of Kenny Powell as they go back through turn 1.
Yeah, Powell trying to do the best he can right now. I think he's just trying to keep his car clean, and so far mission accomplished back there in P9. Still got a long way to go. Not really a long way to go, but you know, still 2 other stages that we have here, so he has time to work his way up. He did come in and pit under that first caution flag, and he did take tires, so he's on a little bit of an advantage compared to everybody else. We'll see how that pays off as time goes on.
6 laps to go here in stage number 1. It's the battle between Hoffman and Severa up front. Everybody else battling back from here are battling for starting spots in the next stage. As they race back into turn number 3, Hoffman still leads the way with an extended lead slightly over the number 62, about 1.6 seconds separating the 2 right now. On board, John Binder sitting there in P5, right behind the 64 of John Mullins. Those 3 cars, you can throw a blanket over them just about. 2/10 separating those 3 as the 64 hops up to the outside line, seeing exactly what he's got up there as they roar back down the back straightaway. Here comes Binder looking to the inside on the 64. Not going to make it happen as the top 5, you can see them all running through turn number 3 and 4.
John Mullins has set the fastest lap of the race. He did it a while ago, but he has been so far the fastest man in town. These guys have already fallen off about a second from their fastest lap. So these tires do fall off quick as here comes Mullins around the outside of McWhorter. He gets sideways, 3 wide. He's able to hang on to it on the bottom. He's going to lose 2-3 spots. Mullins got sideways off the corner. Everybody hangs on, and McWhorter's getting split down the backstretch to turn 3.
Disaster for another one of these drivers getting loose in turn 2, the 32.
Whoa, we got got trouble. Turn 4. Kenny Powell around.
The 06, multiple cars around, Powell involved. The 06 involved.
Gunningsman.
Multiple cars, Gunningsman getting a piece of it. Multiple cars around coming off of turn number 4. Multiple fast cars around as that.
All started with Bill Dolph and Gunningsman. Gunningsman got loose, got into the 06 of Dolph. Nowhere for Powell to go. Heat collects Gunningsman again. Another car gets involved. Glenn Ballard. He gets a piece of it. I did hit Powell there right at the very end and lost the front clip on the car. He almost had that missed. Just a pack of 5 or 6 of them. They all got stacked up, and Gunningsman couldn't keep it down on the inside. And just one mistake is all it takes, and there's nowhere for anybody else to go.
And that brings out a caution with 3 to go in the stage. When we go back racing, it will be a green-white checkered finish, a natural green-white checkered finish for this stage, as the caution laps do not count here in the open. This is our second caution here of stage number 1. Stage break coming at lap number 15. We'll go green onto lap 14, complete lap 15, and then the caution will be thrown, and we will have a stage winner for the first stage of the night here in the open. It's Clayton Hoffman still out in front, but this is going to bunch Chris Severa now to the outside of the 12 of Hoffman to go battling for this open stage win. And Jacob, if I'm the 62, I'm getting on that power as quickly as I can on this restart, or else he's risking losing that lead, losing the stage win. And then he'll have to try and regroup and try and win the second or third stage or the fan vote. But we know if you're in a position to win, you don't want to have to rely on what's coming up in the future.
That is true, but I tell you what, these guys are going to have to be careful on these heat cycle tires, because we already saw in that last run where you would get sideways in one spot on the racetrack, and then you would come around to a similar spot in the next corner and almost lose it and almost lose it. Now, McWhorter's coming in on pit road, which I think is the smart decision, just because we saw him get loose a little bit, kind of heat those tires up more. Once you get a ton of heat in these tires, it's like driving on ice skates, and these guys are all over the place. You know, we saw it earlier on in the day with a couple of guys, with Chris Noble especially, when he fell back through the field. We kind of saw it there with Gunningsman, where he got sideways in 2, and then in turn 4 got sideways and set off that big crash. So you just have to be really careful when you get a lot of heat in these tires. They're going to be giving it everything they've got, because that's the only option they have. But if you abuse your tires too much, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and you're going to be feeling that for a while.
We saw a lot of drivers in the pre-race talking about how this race was a mystery to them. They didn't really know what lap times to shoot for. They didn't know what to do with the setups. They didn't know how fast they should be going, how the cars should be set up. Do you think also these drivers starting to lose these cars on the exit of the corners could also be setup based? A lot of them using the fixed iRacing setup that they might not be used to. A couple of drivers trying to go out on their own and make their own setup might not be the best setup they could possibly use. Do you think that could also be something that's hindering these drivers? Because we've seen now 3-4 drivers almost completely lose the car, and one driver completely losing the car on the exit of the corner.
That is the glory of using the next-gen cars for the All-Star race, because instead of using the Cup cars or the Xfinity cars or the trucks, where you'll have certain guys have an advantage compared to others, this is completely different for everybody. This car has only been out for about a month. They don't have a ton of experience with setups with these cars. And you know, the season update just happened, which changed how these cars handle a little bit. Plus, you know, with these cars, you're not going to run Legacy Charlotte. You're going to run Charlotte. So they have very little experience with these cars in this track in an open setup environment. And that's just what's making this so special, is because everybody's got a different strategy to try and make the big show. But there are so many different strategies out there that it's incredible. You know, we still got a long way to go in this thing, but we're already seeing the guys that appear to be fast and the guys that seem to just be out of control.
And we know a lot of those drivers that are going to be in the All-Star race in a couple of moments' time, immediately following the Open. We'll be heading into the session for the All-Star race. That is going to mean these drivers are watching this happen right now, maybe making a bit of changes to their setup as they do. As the flag man has the green flag in hand, Barney gives it a wave, and we're back underway. 2 to go in stage number 1 of the Open. The winner of this stage moves on to the All-Star race. It's Clayton Hoffman up front, side by side for second place. John Mullins on the inside of the 64. He has Chris Sever on the 62 to his outside. They're side by side for second place as they roll off of the corner, as Clayton Hoffman is going to try and check out in that number 12 through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Severin now to the back bumper. Binder now in the 33 up to third. Here comes the 62. He might have an opening to the inside. The white flag comes out for stage number 1. Whoever's leading at the end of this lap moves on to the All-Star race. Binder on the outside. He's got help with the 64. John Mullins. They're side by side, still for second place. The 62 on the inside. Here comes Binder to the outside. Hoffman went up to block. He goes down to block the inside line. Through turns 3 and 4. It's Hoffman trying to pull away.
Got it.
He does a little bit into 3. The 62 with the last minute ditch effort on the inside. Side by side for the win in stage number 1 of the Open. The 12 tries to throw a block. It works. Clayton Hoffman will get the win in stage number 1 of the All-Star Open.
What a move by Clayton Hoffman. I thought he had it down the back straightaway with that block. He slid up a little bit, drove it a little bit too deep into turn 3. That allowed Severa to get underneath him, but John Binder determined that race. He gave a great shove to Chris Severa to get him to second and get him on the back bumper of that 12, and then he was there to push Hoffman to the win off turn number 4 because Hoffman came up the racetrack. That 33 was there. That 33 was on rails, and he absolutely got that 12 to victory lane and into the All-Star race. No doubt about it.
What a stage number 1 win for Clayton Hoffman here in the All-Star Open. That stage 1 win presented by Shorba's Racing Graphics. SRG offers great services at affordable prices with iRacing paints, logos, numbers, and even t-shirts. $5 from each sale are donated to the Midwest Sim Racing Association end of season prize fund. Visit them on Facebook at Shorba's Racing Graphics. What a win for Clayton Hoffman. He makes his way into the All-Star race, the first driver from the Open to advance his way in, and pit stops are now beginning. Those lead drivers want to grab those fresh Goodyear tires, 2 sets to use. And now standing by with Jacob Hitz will be your stage number 1 winner, advancing to the All-Star race. It's Clayton Hoffman in the 12.
Clayton Hoffman, an incredible opening stage. You're locked into the All-Star race based on that performance. You were out front for almost the entire night, if not the entire night. That last restart, certainly you weren't looking forward to having a natural green-white checker to hold on to the win. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I have my teammate Chris, who's been helping me the whole race. We worked together really well, and we were able to get a gap there on the first run. So he really, I mean, just a big shout out to him with all this aero drafting we have to do with these cars. He was pushing me to the front and kept me out there. So I really got to give all my thanks to him. And thanks to my team, G&G. Had several guys work on the setup, so we were pretty fast. We weren't sure where we were compared to the competition, but looks like we're pretty good.
And you were able to hold off your teammate and Chris Severa, but also that 33 of John Binder. Do you think Binder could have had an opportunity, or Severa had an opportunity, to get to you on that last lap because they were right on your heels?
Yeah, it was pretty close. I was getting pretty loose there at the end of the run, so another lap, I'm sure one of them would have taken it from me. Yeah, it just started getting looser and looser the last 3 laps before the caution, and then on that restart, it was pretty brutal.
Since we have the time, let's talk about tires. You did not pit throughout that first stage. Was it just tires and lack of grip that got you out of control there on that last restart?
With these cars, tire wear isn't really a factor on these short runs. As far as I can tell, tire run's only going to really affect you after about 4 or 5 laps. Just with the aero, with all the drafting, you got a great teammate like I had there with Chris. You can stay out in front on older tires.
Well, congratulations on the stage win. You're locked into the big show, locked into the All-Star race, and we will see you in just a little while back out on the racetrack. Best of luck to you in the All-Star race.
Thank you.
Clayton Hoffman, Stage 1 winner in the All-Star Open. Josh.
And we're now getting ready for the second stage of action here in the Open. It's another 15-lap stage, similar to the first one. We'll be going racing for 15 laps. Caution laps do not count. The winner of this stage advances their way into the All-Star race and joins Clayton Hoffman as the drivers advancing on from the Open. Now remember, that fan vote is completely open until the checkered flag here of the Open or the conclusion of stage number 3. So you can still vote for your favorite MSRA driver, facebook.com/Midwest Sim Racing Association. Once again, it's facebook.com/Midwest Sim Racing Association to give into that fan vote. So if your favorite driver does not advance their way in with a stage win, they can advance their way in with your fan vote. Chad Gunningsman, after getting caught up in that incident towards the end of stage 1, will lead the field to green here in stage 2 of the Open. He's got Matthew Van Gelder in the 16 to his outside. Then it's McWhorter, Sivera, and John Mullins. Rounding out your top 5. Here for the second stage of the Open, it's Clayton Hoffman winning stage number 1. Who's going to be able to walk away with the win here in stage number 2? 14 laps on the docket when we go back to green flag racing. Pace car down and away. Green flag in Barney the Flagman's hand, and we're back underway in the Open. Stage 2 is underway.
I'm surprised with Gelder here. He did not pit under that last, under the stage caution. The only time he pitted was on that first caution that we had. So his tires are more than 10 laps older than everybody else's. We'll see how this plays out for us. Here comes McWhorter around the outside of Gunningsman for the lead down the back stretch.
McWhorter, huge shove from Chris Severa in the 62. Severa gonna barely clear Chad Gunningsman on the inside. He will take over P2. Now right in the draft of the number 32 of Joseph McWhorter, trying to get that All-Star Open Stage 2 win. He leads the way, but Severa was on the back bumper of Clayton Hoffman that entire first stage. Jacob, you gotta think that number 62 is hungry for a stage win, and I don't think he wants to be denied here in stage number 2.
Now the question is does he go for it right away and throw caution to the wind, or does he wait until the last second in this stage to try and pull it off so that way he doesn't have to hold off everybody at once? We'll just have to wait and see what Severa does, but it's heating up behind him. Mullins and Binder side by side for P4. Chris Noble right there as well.
Binder to the inside of John Mullins in the number 64. Now to the inside of Mullins goes Chris Noble in the 53. Still side by side, coming down the back straightaway. Binder tried to make a look to the inside of Gunningsman. He'll stay right on the back bumper. A little bit of a love tap to both of those drivers. The 33 falls a little bit back into the clutches of the 64 of Mullins. Mullins now looking to the outside. He's still side by side, however, with the 53 of Noble. At the tail end of this field, it's the 89 of Kevin Roy. Top 7, all racing their way in a single file line, double file towards the back, through turn 3 and 4 now. Coming down the back straightaway to the inside for the lead goes Chris Severa in the 62. He'll take the lead here in stage 2 of the Open, coming to the stripe for 10 to go.
And they're side by side behind him. Gunningsman with McWhorter side by side. Binder and Noble side by side. It's a 4-car pack all behind Severa as they go through turn 1. McWhorter with a better run on the high side, but that inside's been the place to be. As long as he can keep the power down off the corner, he's dead even with Gunningsman down the back straightaway.
Will he be able to take over P2? The 62 moves up to the outside. Severa trying to cover his tracks there on the outside line. McWhorter now sitting.
Oh, Binder! Oh, he turns him into the wall!
Turns him into the wall!
Binder, oh, look out, that's Bill Dolph that barely gets through it. And, oh, that's such a shame. Those guys are racing so close together. It just takes one mistake. We saw it happen earlier tonight in turn 4. It happens again. Just a little bit of contact with McWhorter gets him sideways, and he can't hang on to it, and hard into the wall.
That collects the 64. That collects the 33. Looks like maybe some contact as well for the 06 of Bill Dolph. Coming down the front straightaway off of turn 4. On board with John Mullins in that number 64 for Canterbury RV through turn 4. And it just looked like the 33 got a little bit too far on that back bumper. The 32. His cars can get really upset. We saw, oh, there was a wreck going into turn number 1 as well after the incident in turn 4. How many more drivers were involved here in this incident? On board with the 33, just slight contact, sent the 32 into the wall. 33 goes around into the grass. Now, what happened here heading into turn number 1? It was cars coming off of the infield out of control. They couldn't get the car stopped. Makes contact heading into turn 1.
And Kevin Roy's in that, it looks like, the 89 car. He's got damage. He was able to slice his way through. I think he's going to get hit. He's up on the outside. He's going to hit back. He's going to get hit right there. Gets put in the wall by, oh gosh, who is that?
Kyle Mollering, 44.
Yeah. Wow. That is unbelievable. Thought he had the whole thing cleared, and just a heat-seeking missile in that 44 in the grass. Didn't have control of the race car. Trying to do everything he can to keep it off of him. And cautions out here, and so close.
And that sent the 44 down into the wall. That day is done for the 44. Remember, on the Legacy Charlotte, this is real grass. It is not the turf grass that's on the modern Charlotte Motor Speedway on the iRacing service. That is real grass, no grip grass. It sent the 44 right up into that car on the outside, and they both went spinning. That was John Mullins in the 64 that got involved. I don't know if I can really blame the 44 there, Jacob. He just had no grip. He had no way to stop that car on the grass.
No, he really had no chance of saving that thing once he got into the grass. And how about this? John Mullins, I don't know if he got damage in that wreck, but he just disconnected from the server. He's out. He is not going to make the big show here. He's done.
And remembering, we got a ruling from race control, and this is what happened with Brandon Davis as well in the 91. If you have too much damage to your car, you cannot qualify for the All-Star race. It has to be minimal damage at best. They want clean cars or minimal damage in the All-Star race, or to qualify into the All-Star race, I should say. So Clayton Hoffman had no damage to his car. He won the stage, so he was able to move on. John Mullins, with the damage he had, probably saw it as not really worth racing for it. Probably not going to make the All-Star race anymore anyways. So he pulls it off and retires the car. And he'll be watching on Podium Esports in the Open and the All-Star race. So unfortunate, yes, but it's the rule book in this All-Star race, Jacob. And you need to keep your car clean, and that's what a lot of these front guys are doing, and a lot of these guys towards the back who are avoiding these wrecks with their minimal damage, they now have an opportunity to try and qualify their way into the Open.
Well, and here's the thing. We've only got like 7 guys left that aren't completely toast. We've got 7 guys behind the pace car right now who are going to be fighting for 2 spots. If you thought it was intense before, you haven't seen anything yet. When you've got this little cars fighting over 2 spots, the probability of you making it's a lot higher. You just got to keep the car clean and get out in front. That's what matters right now.
So side by side now, the field behind the iRacing.com pace car, going back to racing here in stage number 2. There'll be 9 to go in the stage. The winner of this stage will join Clayton Hoffman in qualifying for the All-Star race. 7 cars ready to go racing, and like Jacob mentioned, just for 2 spots out there on the racetrack. It's Chris Severa leading the field back to green, Chad Gunningsman in second place, Chris Noble, Matt Knight, and Matthew Van Gelder round out the 5 cars taking the green flag here on the restart for stage number 2. 9 to go in the stage, we're back underway.
Cool, and that outside line did not get a great start, but Severa's on the gas. He's got company from that 53 of Chris Noble, but right now it's all Chris Severa through 1 and 2.
Leads the way, single file on the bottom of the racetrack is that top 5. Make that top 7 as everybody goes single file. The 53 of Noble trying to make a move up to the outside. He jukes it back to the inside. A lot of blocking from the 62 of Severa as they dive back into 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a single file train, but I think these guys want to keep these cars clean as much as possible. As Bill Dolph is getting some pressure from behind, Matt Knight and Van Gelder, they're all back there, but Chris Noble is all over Chris Severa. Gunningsman kind of the bridge between the top two and the rest of the pack, but Severa, right now, he's on cruise control, using the mirror as much of, if not even more, than the windshield right now.
The 53 right in the tire tracks, trying to get a slipstream off that number 62. Not going to work too well coming down the back straightaway. Not able to make a move into 3. Side by side, a little bit further back, or trying to at least. It's Bill Dolph and Matt Knight in the 11 and the 06. They're battling for P4 out on the racetrack. Everybody single file in the top 5 currently as the 62 leads the way, trying to win this stage. Move on to the All-Star race. 6 to go at the line on board with Gunningsman.
And I tell you what, Bill Dolph just about lost the car off turn 2. He did lose the car. It's just we didn't see a caution from it. Thing got loose on him. He was able to catch it by the time he got to the flat on corner exit, but he is 5 seconds and more off the pace and way behind everybody else. Looks like he got some help from Matt Knight.
That's going to put Bill Dolph down into P number 7. Severa still leads the way. It's Noble behind, but he is in the clutches of the 97 of Gunningsman. The 62 pulls all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to cut the draft from the cars behind. Didn't work too well. The 53 is still there. Matt Knight watching in the wings in 4th. Gunningsman trying to punch his way into the top 2. And then on the top 2 is Chris Severa and Chris Noble. 5 to go here in the stage.
Tell you what, Severa pulled away, but now these 2nd through 4th, they have caught up. But Gunningsman, he's not up for this catching up to Severa. He wants this 2nd spot. He wants it now. Problem is, he's not getting any help. Matt Knight to the inside. He takes 3rd. He's going to look for 2nd, but he's just too far back to get there on Noble. Severa by 2 car lengths through 3 and 4.
4 to go in the stage at the line. The 11's going to clear the 97 for P3. These 4 cars are battling out here on the racetrack for this stage win. Right now, out at the head of the field, it's Chris Severa looking for this stage win to advance into the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race for the Midwest Sim Racing Association. Down the back straightaway here at Legacy Charlotte. Side by side, or trying to make it side by side. It's the 53 of Noble. Here comes Matt Knight. He's got a rocket. 11, contact with the 53, Noble into the wall in turn 4.
Oh, and he can't catch it. Back in the wall on the tri-oval or the quad oval. Way off the pace. We're not going to see a caution because there aren't that many cars left. I believe we're on in-game cautions, so iRacing doesn't deem that there should be a caution, and Chris Severa, as long as he doesn't spin out here, he's going to walk his way into a spot in the All-Star race. Wow!
And that is going to put now Severa up in front. Matt Knight trying to close that gap. Gunningsman in P3, but there's a solid 2nd in between all of those drivers. 2 to go now here in the stage. It's all Chris Severa up in front by 1.6 seconds over 2nd place. He's trying to walk away a walk-off victory here on the stage.
He's long gone. He's got almost a 2-second lead over Matt Knight right now. And sure, Matt Knight's made contact with 2 other guys, but at this point, I think we're going to have 6 cars left, maybe. Actually, less than that. 5 cars left, maybe, that can continue on racing here. John Bender's done. Mick Waters done. Mollering is done. Right now, I don't know if they're going to allow Noble to continue or Dolph to continue. We could have as little as 4 guys fighting over this last spot here.
Down the back straightaway to grab the win in stage number 2. It's the 62 of Chris Severa. Stage 2 extends and ends here onto the front straightaway. It's Chris Severa grabbing the win in the 62.
He did what he had to do, and it's probably a good thing that he didn't sit around and wait till the last second, because there was a lot of chaos behind him while he was out in front, and if he waited, he probably would have been in that chaos.
Chris Severa with a great run here in stage number 2. He advances now into the All-Star race here in the Midwest Sim Racing Association Bearded Sim Racer All-Star race. Currently working our way here in stage number 2 of the Open. It now concludes, and your stage 2 winner is presented by HutchCo. HutchCo has been proudly serving the northeastern Colorado community since 19 1999, pouring the foundations of countless homes and shops. The MSRA commemorates their service as their business ends operations. HutchCo has long desired to be involved in racing and has joined the Premier Series to fulfill that dream. Thanks to HutchCo for their service. Stage 2 concludes. We have a Stage 2 winner in Chris Sivera. And Jacob, he got denied there in stage number 1 by Clayton Hoffman. You know that number 62 has got to be feeling good, and he's going to be standing by with you as we bring him up into our broadcast booth. Chris Sivera, your stage 2 winner, standing by with Jacob Hitz.
Chris, you were able to hang on to that lead there in that second stage while the rest of the field kind of blew apart behind you. You had to play in that second spot for most of that first stage, but you're able to get it done here. Take us through it.
Yeah, that was great. That whole first stage, we were just focusing on getting either me or Clayton out front. Whoever got out front, we were just going to push to the lead, and luckily that was able to work out that way. The second stage, man, it was just an absolute free-for-all, just, giving it everything you had. I was just the biggest thing here is trying to get that guy behind you to time your run to pass the guy in front of you. That was the hardest thing, and I was just glad to get it done for everybody at G&G.
Now, clearly there at the end, you did not have a lot of cars out on the racetrack there in that second stage. Do you think maybe you could be at a little bit of a disadvantage once you get into the big pack for the All-Star race, or do you think that first stage was enough to kind of prepare you for what it's going to be like in the middle of the pack?
I don't know if I could race this thing for the next couple of weeks and be prepared for the next race. I know those guys are some serious contenders, and they've been really working on those cars, but this car is the whole oddball here. Nobody really knows what it's going to do. Everybody's it's new for everyone, so I just know that next race is going to be exciting. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Congratulations on the stage win, and we will see you in the big show here in a little while. Enjoy this third and final stage.
Thank you, guys.
Great run for the number 62 of Chris Sivera. We'll be ready to go here in stage number 3. Lights stay on the iRacing pace car. They'll go around for 2 more pace laps. And this is going to be an interesting stage, Jacob, because we know that fan vote is still looming. We know that one driver will win that fan vote. However, there still is one more spot that these drivers can race into, and it is this stage win. These drivers can't rely on the fan vote. We've seen it before in real life. Relying on the fan vote does not go well, especially if you're not confident about that reliance. So this could be an important stage for Gunningsman, Van Gelder, Timothy Davis, Matt Knight, Bill Dolph, all the drivers who are still in contention, so they don't have to rely on the fans to vote them in.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if somebody that's leading the fan vote is somebody that's left and they happen to win this stage, that's going to completely shuffle everything, because that means that the second person that got the most votes will make it into the big show instead. Kind of just goes right down the order. We'll have to wait and see, if that's the case, and if it is the case, we'll have to see if that actually happens. But in the meantime, Gunningsman, he's been super fast. We saw Matt Knight turn it up there in that second stage. I think those are probably going to be your top 2 here. Chris Noble has been strong, but we've also seen him hit the wall a couple of times. He's got damage. He may not be able to keep up with these guys as much. So it's going to be an all-out brawl, I think, between Gunningsman, Knight, and perhaps Chris Noble. Everybody else, we'll see what they got here. They've kind of been towards the back for most of the race. We'll see what happens.
Well, as the field gets ready to go back to racing here in stage number 3, 9 laps when we go back to racing here in the 3rd stage. And sponsoring tonight's all-star race, well, it's our own producer here on Podium Esports, Ryan Bauer. He's pushing the buttons down in virtual production trailer, and I believe this is the first time that he has pushed the button on his own lower third. Special thanks to our producer for sponsoring tonight's all-star festivities. You can find out more information and content at www.facebook.com/beardedsimracer. Once again, facebook.com/beardedsimracer. Pace car down and away. We're back underway. Green flag is in the air. We are racing in stage 3 on the All-Star Open.
How about that? A single file restart here for this third and final stage. 10 laps, everything on the line. And Gunningsman, he just dropped the deuces. He said, see you later, guys. We'll see if that draft will really kick in, if these guys are willing to work together. But right now, you know, Dolph and Noble have fallen off compared to the rest of these top four. I think it's going to be a 4-car battle here for this transfer spot.
Coming to the back bumper, it's Matthew Van Gelder in the 16, looking on from Timothy Davis. Davis gonna fall victim to Matt Knight. Knight's gonna power high in that 11 car. He'll move up into P3. It's Gunningsman now ahead of Van Gelder. Van Gelder all over the back bumper of that number 97, looking for any way possible around. 8 laps to go as they roar back down the back straightaway, trying to cut that draft. Shades of Indianapolis is the 97.
He needs that. He needs drafting help. That's the biggest issue right now. And Matt Knight is just too far back for him to really help Van Gelder and get him by Gunningsman. That's the problem with so little cars left. You don't have the draft advantage anymore where you can get out in front and start to scoot away unless everybody accordions together and is able to work together. Right now, Van Gelder trying to do it all by himself. And Matt Knight, he just can't get close enough to really have an impact.
Back down the back straightaway they go. Gunningsman moved down to the bottom of the racetrack to cover the spot. Nobody decided to go down there. It's Van Gelder now, sitting there in second place. He's gonna fall to Matt Knight. They're side by side, running back in second place. On the door is the 11, looking for second place. He will take it, heading down into turn number 1, but the 16 rallies back on the outside. A great run down on the bottom of the racetrack for the 11 and Knight. Knight's gonna not clear him just yet. Down the back straightaway they go. The 16 of Van Gelder trying to hold it. One car stuck on the bottom of the racetrack, spinning. No caution. We stay green as they're still side by side for second.
Yeah, Timothy Davis, he was loose, and finally crashed it off a 2. Hit the wall hard on the inside of the racetrack. No caution because there are only 5 cars left, and he's cleared his way. But here comes Van Gelder on the outside. Matt Knight on the inside. They're not done wrestling for second yet with 4.5 to go. This is the best case scenario for Chad Gunningsman. He can just continue to pull away because they're not worried about fighting for the lead. They're worried about their second spot instead.
Gunningsman leading the way by a solid 3 car lengths now at the line. 4 laps to go here in the final stage of the All-Star Open. Side by side for a moment was the 16 and the 11. The 11 could not get around it. Van Gelder on the back bumper of Gunningsman. Multiple cars still trying to race their way further back for second, third, and fourth. To the outside goes the 16. Will he try and stick it there? No, he doesn't. He moves back to the inside, right behind the 97.
He got a great run by arcing that corner. He went up the hill, got a great run heading into turn number 3, came down the inside, and here we go. I mean, this is all on the line. He's going to the outside. Knight's going to follow him side by side for the lead with just 3 laps to go, and a great run on the outside for Van Gelder. And Knight looking up the middle. Now he goes to the outside to help the 16.
Gunningsman falls on the inside. Van Gelder moves into the lead with help from Matt Knight on the outside. The 11 tries to power around the 97 side by side for second place. Across the line this time, 2 laps to go. The 16 trying to run away with it now. Solid 4 car lengths in between them. Almost contact for third between Dolph and Matt Knight.
Yeah, Matt Knight bounced it off the outside wall. So now the roles are reversed. Gunningsman's the one that needs the help, and Van Gelder's the one that's pulling away. It's all going to be on Van Gelder here. He's got to block the right move. Gunningsman trying to mirror the same line that Gelder took. He got close there through 3 and 4. He's going to have one last shot as they come to the white flag here, Josh.
White flag in the All-Star Open. This is the final moment for Gunningsman to try and qualify his way into the All-Star race, unless he wants to rely on that fan vote. Down into turn number 1. It's the 16 of Van Gelder leading the way. Gunningsman, one final opportunity as they roar down the back straightaway. Trying to break the draft is the 16. Gunningsman looks to the outside, shuts the door. There's the 16. Going into turn number 3. One final effort for the 97. About half a car length back, coming to the stripe. It will be the 16. Matthew Van Gelder gets the final stage win of the night. He moves on to the All-Star race.
Great move by Van Gelder there to throw the blocks when he needed to. Gunningsman just did not quite have the help. And I'm interested to see what this does to the fan vote, because we were told before this final stage that Van Gelder was the fan vote leader at that time. He's now locked in with this transfer spot, so that means whoever makes it from the van vote really is going to be second here, I think. Well, I'm interested to see what happens, how this shapes up.
Well, joining us now in the broadcast booth is your Stage 3 winner, Matthew Van Gelder. Matthew, how does it feel as you burn it down in the infield? You're moving on to the All-Star race.
Yahoo! That was fun.
How was that final stage? Because it looked like you had a rocket ship there in the last half of the stage to really power your way around for the lead, and you were able to pull away with cars going side by side behind you, and you ended up crossing the finish line first.
Yeah, we kind of strategy worked out for us. We were able to take 4 tires at that last stage, and I don't think the 92. I don't think he did that. So I just kind of waited a few laps until that really showed up, and then we could do our thing.
We were also told before that stage begun that you were also the fan vote leader. So obviously racing your way in for that stage win, but what do you got to say to all of the fans that voted you in here for the MSRA All-Star race?
Yeah, that was awesome. It's amazing to see everybody vote like that. It means so much to me that you know, people would do that so that I can come out here and play a game.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here in the broadcast booth at Podium Esports. That is your Stage 3 winner, the number 16 of Matthew Van Gelder. Waiting on the official word of who that fan vote winner will be now, Jacob, but with the conclusion of that, we got the news. Your fan vote winner, the 53, Chris Noble, will be moving his way into the All-Star race. And here are your final results after Stage 3 of the All-Star Open. It's Van Gelder, Gunningsman, Dolph, Knight, and you can see there your fan vote winner, Chris Noble in the 53. He finishes in P5. Timothy Davis finishes in 6th. There's your Stage 2 winner, Chris Sivera. He pulled off the racetrack for the final stage, and everybody down from there taken out of the race earlier on, and that includes your Stage 1 winner of Clayton Hoffman. An exciting final stage there, Jacob, and an exciting All-Star Open. This is just a precursor to what we're going to see tonight.
We're going to have more guys on the track here for this second thing, too. I'm really excited to how this thing plays out. It's going to be fun to watch, and we'll have to do a little bit of server hopping to get there, but still, we've got a lot of talent in this next field, and this is going to be something incredible. If you're watching this right now, don't you dare touch that dial, because the best is yet to come, no doubt.
And there is your fan vote winner, the 53 of Chris Noble. All of you fans who voted for him to move on into the All-Star race here tonight. And he did not race his way in through the stages, so he was that one driver that got lucky with that fan vote. Now, qualifying took place a little bit earlier on here for tonight's Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race from the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going to take a look at that qualifying lap, then we'll hop into a quick break here on Podium Esports. You're watching the MSRA All-Star Race from the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the All-Star Race festivities continue.
We've been waiting for this moment. Generations of innovation all coming together in one place. A pedigree of more than 70 years of NASCAR Cup Series history, from the past to the present, from Petty to Earnhardt to Elliott. Today, there's no more waiting. The future of NASCAR is now. Drive the next-gen cars today on iRacing and step into the next generation of racing.
An animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real. I'm feeling so ruthless. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame. Show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time. Nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down. It's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise. Don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to iRacing's virtual Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's time for the main event of tonight's Midwest Sim Racing Association Premier Series Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. The All-Star Open is done. We know the 3 stage winners who have advanced into the All-Star race. Now it's time to meet your fan vote winner, taking up the 4th and final spot from the Open. He's standing by with Jacob Hitz. Now it's Chris Noble in the 53.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, Chris, it was a great run for you in the All-Star Open. Unfortunately, not able to work your way into one of those stage wins, but you got in based on the fan vote. How was it racing in that All-Star Open compared to what you're expecting here for the All-Star race?
Hopefully not the same for me. Hopefully a little bit better. It should be exciting. All the cars are on edge, so it should make for an exciting race up in the booth for y'all.
And heading into the All-Star race, I remember, of course, being a Casey Kane fan back in 2008 when Casey Kane won the fan vote and then came back and won the All-Star race. Do you think it can pull that same magic that Kane had in 2008 here for tonight's race?
I hope so. We're going to make some adjustments to the car, try to tighten it up there a little bit, and we're gonna give it a shot. We're not going to leave anything on the table tonight.
We were wondering if anybody would make adjustments to their car. Sounds like you will in that number 53. Chris, good luck in the All-Star race, and who hopefully will be talking to you in Victory Lane at the end of the night.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. I want to thank all the fans for voting me in.
Thank you to Chris Noble for joining us here in the broadcast booth. Your fan vote winner here at the virtual Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star race. Here's the race analysis for tonight's main event. 85 laps on the docket. Stage 1 will be 30 laps long with a mandatory green flag pit stop. Stage 2 then will be 20 laps. Then the final stage will be 10 laps, with the winner of the final stage being the All-Star race winner. $150 to the race winner. 5 sets of tires in the pits, 3 green-white checkered attempts as always at the end of the race. Jacob, this is all bets are off. This is no points on the line, purely racing for that cash prize. Everybody is going to be going all out to earn this race win.
You've got 2 options. You either come back with the checkered flag or you come back with the steering wheel. There's really no other option here in the All-Star race. And I'm so glad we're at this racetrack because this brings so many memories of the late 2000s, the early 2010s, and even before that through the 80s and 90s. And this racetrack with the All-Star race, certainly not these race cars, but I tell you what, there hasn't been a buzz about an All-Star race, personally, I think, for a while. There's a buzz about this, in my opinion, that, you know, we're going to see something really special tonight, something that we haven't seen before, possibly something we'll never see again. And I can't wait to see how this pans out because we have a lot of talent in this field that are going to be putting it all on the line. It's a long show, 85 laps.
putting it all out there, all the chips in the center of the table, going for that $150 at the end of the night.
We'll see exactly who's going to walk away with that. We have 5 minutes left here in practice, and currently fastest, take a guess at who it is. It was the fastest driver in the Open as well, the 12 of Clayton Hoffman. He is starting where he left off in the Open, and it's going to be interesting to see what Hoffman can do there. We know he's dominant in the Open. How dominant do you think he'll be here in the All-Star race?
Oh, you got to remember, these guys are going to be starting out back. So they're going to have a tough road to get to the front because they're starting out back. So it's going to be a while until we see them get to the front unless they try and pull some strategy to get up there. But I think it'll be interesting because, you know, guys like the 12 of Clayton Hoffman, you know, he started out front in the Open and was out front the entire run. This is the first time that he's really going to be in any sort of big traffic. So we'll see if he's prepared to run in all the traffic or not. Certainly it's going to be trial by fire for the driver of the 12 car. Let's put it that way.
And as we take a look at these images from practice, we're seeing a lot of the similar stuff that we saw in the Open, and like we've been comparing it to all night, the All-Star race back in 2018. A lot of pack racing, a lot of lines, a lot of drafting. Jacob, do you think we'll see much of the same of that tonight? Because we know these drivers only need to pit at the end of the stages. No green flag pit stops need to be made except for that mandatory pit stop in stage 1.
It's possible. I mean... like you said, they don't need to make green flag stops. Pack racing is going to be a big factor. We're probably going to see a lot more contact in this one just because of the money that's on the line, especially as we get later and later on in this race. You know, the first 2 stages, it may not be chaotic, but we get to those last couple stages, the sleeves are going to get rolled up, the gloves are going to come off, and it's certainly going to be every man for themselves.
I was just looking up the NASCAR stats as we see the 77 get turned. That's Ryan Strunk in turn number 4 there. Luckily, this is just practice. These drivers getting the shakedown of their cars. We heard from Chris Noble getting adjustments made to these cars to make them a little bit tighter on the racetrack. So everybody getting their final adjustments in, final laps in before we go racing here in the All-Star race. But just looking up the stats from NASCAR, there's only 2 drivers in the history of the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star race to win the Open and the All-Star race in the same weekend. That is Ryan Newman in 2002, Kyle Larson in 2019. Do you think Clayton Hoffman can pull that same magic here tonight, Jacob, and win the Open, a stage in the Open, and win the All-Star race?
He's going to need some help getting through some traffic, but right now he's the fastest guy on the board. I think he has a chance to do that and become the third driver. I know this isn't NASCAR, but third driver to do it. He's just going to need some help with cautions, with getting through traffic. But Clayton Hoffman in clean air certainly seems to have a car that's capable of winning this thing.
I really love the avoidance of the jinx there, so you didn't give a good clip to Eric Messer to use on Twitter. That was A+ dodging of that jinx right there. So if we can't get a clip from Eric on that one, well, you'll have to wait on somebody else. He just told us he's got his eyes on us, so we got to mind our P's and Q's up here in the booth thing, because we know one subtle jinx, one word of a caution, and a caution comes out, we're getting clipped and tagged on Twitter. It is within seconds. Eric Messer is so quick. Make sure you do follow us on Twitter at Podium Esports. Same thing on Facebook at Podium Esports. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podium Esports, there as well. Twitch.tv/Podium Esports, our main channel. Give us a follow over there. If you're watching on Twitch.tv/Podium2, give us a follow there as well. Wherever you're watching tonight's broadcast of the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race, we're glad you could join us. And stick around because we have 85 laps of all-star racing here tonight. Minute left in practice before the field takes to the grid. Jacob, final thoughts. What are you expecting as we take the green flag for the all-star race? Are you expecting carnage? Are you expecting exciting racing? Are you expecting some surprise winners up at the front?
We'll have to see what happens, really. You know, I didn't expect a whole lot coming into the Open. And that completely changed my mindset on the rest of the night. I'm kind of going to come into this the same way just because these guys that are in here now are pretty much at square one like the guys were in the open, where they're not used to running in a big pack like they will be when they get the green flag. We're going to see a lot of people get sideways. We're probably going to see some people make mistakes. Probably going to see some people wreck in the opening couple laps just because they're not used to running this close together with everybody else at this racetrack. It's going to take some getting used to. By the time we get to that end of the first stage, though, I think everybody will have their cars under themselves, and they'll be able to hang on pretty well.
By the way, the top two currently here in the warm-up, the Stage 1 and Stage 2 winners from the All-Star Open, Clayton Hoffman and Chris Severa. Unfortunately, they're going to have to race their way from the back in the 19-car field, ready to go racing in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. Let's grab a look at your starting grid for tonight's event. It'll be Alan Dobbs, the in-race reporter here on Podium Esports tonight. Starting on the pole, TJ Crampton in the 61 to his outside. Jacob Shorba in the 30 to the inside of row 2. He has Ralph Hutchison for Lockdown Racing to his outside. Matt White, Cole Hooper are going to share row 3 and round out the top 6.
Kenny Meadows, Chris Hansen, they are 7th and 8th. They make up row number 4. Zach York and Evan Longacre make up the end of the top 10 in row number 5. Jeffrey Meyer and Ryan Strunk in the 77 wrap up row number 6.
Matt Dyer, David Santini, a National Series driver with Old School Ninjas on the outside of row 7. It's Vincent Arthur, Clayton Hoffman, your Stage 1 winner from the Open, sharing row 8. Chris Severa, Matthew Van Gelder, your other 2 stage winners from Stage 2 and 3 from the Open, rounding out the top 18. And then your fan vote winner at the tail end of the field, Chris Noble in the 19. Grabbing another look at where we are in the world, powered by our friends over at Google Earth, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tonight, the legacy version of the Charlotte Motor Speedway as we go racing in the All-Star Race. And oh, by the way, we have the next-gen cars on this track as well. If you're just tuning in, it's time to begin the main event. Temperatures starting to fall, 85 degrees in the air, but as we pass through 7:21 sim time, track temperature only around 90 Fahrenheit. At the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway here in Concord, North Carolina, famous with NASCAR racing right in NASCAR's backyard. The 1.5-mile quad oval ready to go racing. The Charlotte Motor Speedway has hosted the All-Star Race multiple times in the past, and it's time for the Midwest Sim Racing Association to go racing in their All-Star Night. Out in front, it's Alan Dobbs leading him to the green flag, and these drivers are ready to go racing, not for points, but for bragging rights and cash prizes. Pace car down and away. Let's go racing in the All-Star Race.
Great start there on the inside for Dobbs. Shorba couldn't quite get there on the outside run. He's going to fall back. Or no, that's not Shorba. That's, I believe, 61 to TJ Crampton. Shorba, though, great run on the outside, pulled to the outside. But here comes Hutchison. He's down low.
Hutchison looking for the second spot on Shorba. Shorba going to fall back on the outside line. Side by side between the 51 and the 30. Cars shuffling further back. They were 3 wide for a moment. Falling way down the order on the inside line. That looks to be the 20th Hansen.
We got Ryan Strunk in the wall. Saw it happen right as they got to the entrance of turn number 1. One car sideways and up in the wall. Ryan Strunk with a lot of damage to his 77. Looks like he got turned in the quad oval by Jeffrey Mayer. And behind him, David Santini. Nowhere to go. Wrong place, wrong time. They made contact up by the outside wall.
That driver that was falling back was actually the 48 of Matt White. I believe I called it out as David Santini in the 79. You can see him fall back right there. And it looks like this incident just happened. The driver of the 77 trying to go a little bit too far to the outside. That's Ryan Strunk. Makes contact with the car to his inside, and that leads to the first caution of the night. Caution laps do count here in the All-Star race, unlike the All-Star Open. There's Matt White falling on the outside. The 77 has shrunk, taps the wall, then taps the 50, then unfortunately taps David Santini in the 79. 3 cars involved in that one to bring out the first caution of the night here in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star race.
But we've seen how difficult it is when everybody gets splashed up in the quad oval. We see how difficult it is to not make contact because everything tightens up. It's like trying to put a marshmallow in a parking meter. It just doesn't work out very well. As tell you what, Alan Dobbs stayed out, and everybody else, I mean everybody else, came onto pit road. Wow.
Now remember, this does count towards their mandatory pit stop. And Shorba missed his stall. Jacob Shorba, unfortunately, with an incident on pit road, big time missed his pit stall. That's going to affect him here in these pit stops. He's just now getting the right sides up on that number 30. He's out and away. He'll beat TJ Crampton. He'll beat Chris Severa, but he loses multiple positions. He's down to P7.
That's going to hurt him there. He decided to come on to pit road. Now he's going to lose, what, 5 spots there because of it? That's the plight of coming onto pit road here, is you can always make a mistake and send you back through the field.
So Dobbs, the only driver staying out on the racetrack here in the number 22. So he still needs to complete a pit stop here in the stage. Everybody else has their mandatory pit stop out of the way. For a lot of those drivers that didn't receive damage there, that could be a complete blessing for them because they now don't have to worry about the mandatory pit stop. Alan Dobbs still needs to worry about it before the end of this first stage at lap 30.
It's possible. Matt Knight is in our broadcast chat here, and he says he wonders if Dobbs is doing a tire strategy here and he doesn't want to waste a set this early, trying to make the tires last longer, where if he needs a set late in the race, he can come in and get them while everybody else will be a set short. I don't know how that will work out when literally everybody else pitted, but it could work.
As the field paces behind the iRacing pace car, this is going to be interesting to see how this restart is going to play out for Alan Dobbs. If he is doing those tire strategies like we're speculating, it might not work out for him, Jacob, because this stage is so short. It's only 30 laps, and this race is so short, only being 85. With that stage break at 30, then another 20 laps, then another 15 laps to the finish, I don't think he really has a lot of time to really develop a tire strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold move, and we'll see how it works for Dobbs, but it's a possibility. It could work. It could also send him to the back, and then he gets involved in an accident because he decided to pit when everybody else stayed out because of that set differential. It's only 4 laps, and it's only 2 under green. I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue right out of the gate. If we're able to get a longer run in, though, I could see Dobbs start to slip through the field compared to everybody else. Just have to wait and see.
Getting ready to go back to racing here from the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. Side by side on the restart, Dobbs choosing the outside line. Another interesting choice. We haven't seen that outside line be super dominant here tonight, whether it's the All-Star Open or the first handful of laps here in the All-Star race. That inside seems to be the place to be, to make those passes. It's getting that nose in on the inside to make that pass on the car in front. And the field now doubled up, ready to go back to racing. It's Dobbs ahead of Hutchison, Kenny Meadows, Cole Hooper, and Jeffrey Meyer rounds out your top 5. There's a handful of MSRA National Series drivers up here in the front. Mixed in, it's MSRA Premier Series driver, the 51 of Ralph Hutchison. Back underway as Dobbs gets on the power.
And he's long gone. I mean, he caught everybody else sleeping right there on that restart. He said, see you later, but there are a lot more people behind him this time around than there were like in that open. So he's going to get eaten alive here. And Hutchison, he's there, looks outside, looks inside. Now he goes back to the outside with Hooper. Dobbs can't block one of them. Hutchison gets by on the outside. He almost got contact there with Hooper, trying to block for that second spot.
On the outside is Hutchison, making it three wide. Down the front straightaway. Cole Hooper made a look to the inside. He backed out of it. Now side by side with Kenny Meadows in the 96. They are side by side, 3 rows now as Chris Severa gonna make his way into the top 5 with a move past Vincent Arthur in the 24. He finds himself now in this battle, 3 rows, all too wide, looking like Talladega as they roll back into turn 3.
And where did Severa come from? He started way back in the 8th row, and here he is in 5th off the corner. Hutchison pulls away. Dobbs under fire for second from Cole Hooper and Kenny Meadows. Then Vincent Arthur and Severa all there behind him. Dobbs just trying to cling on to that second spot for dear life.
Hutchison looking back in his mirror, pulling away now as they work back to the back straightaway. Alan Dobbs in P2, looking to the outside as Hutchison protects that inside line and does so incredibly well. He'll keep Dobbs behind as Cole Hooper now taking advantage of the 22, running the middle line. Hooper to the inside. He's got a huge shove from his teammate there, Vincent Arthur in the 24, as they'll roar now into the top 3 positions. Now side by side further back, it's Severa with Dobbs for P4. Severa will pass Dobbs. Alan Dobbs now falling to P5.
Oh, Severa almost got turned by Alan Dobbs down the back straightaway. They both do a great job of hanging on to the race cars. I don't know how they didn't wad him up right there. That was close. Dobbs slides up the racetrack, almost makes contact with Meadows. Here comes Severa. 3 wide on the inside for second in the quad oval. He's going to put Hooper. He's going to put Arthur up to the high side, and Severa's going to pass both of them into turn number 1. Move that 62 into number 2. Second place. How about that?
A great move from the 62 of Severa now to take that spot. Still side by side, it's Hooper and Vincent Arthur. Great Lakes Motorsports behind the 24. The Hooper Motorsports number 99 on the outside. He's going to fall now into P4 is Cole Hooper. Vincent Arthur on the inside. He'll take P3 at the line. Still side by side. Hooper trying to move his way back up into the spot. But here comes Chris Severa looking for the race lead on Ralph Hutchison as we near halfway done with the stage. Hutchison goes down to protect the inside. On the outside line, it's Chris Severa. Not going to make a move up there. He'll fall back into line as Vincent Arthur rounds out your top 3. Alan Dobbs races his way back to 4th. And on the inside, it's Jacob Shorba looking for P5.
These guys are racing like it's the last 5 laps overall, not just the last couple of laps. Well, we're not even halfway yet, but we're getting close to halfway here in this first stage. Lap 30 is where they got to make it to. Now the top 5 starting to single file. Here comes Shorba looking to the inside of Dobbs again. Side by side behind him, Zach York, Cole Hooper. They're side by side. Kenny Meadows right in the thick of it as well. Severa trying to close the gap, but the top 3 have made it single file as we've got trouble off turn 4. 1 car around through the infield grass. Chris Noble, he's going to keep it down in the grass, keep it down by pit road. He hangs onto the race car. There is no caution. Dirt tracking it. Now onto the apron in turn number 1. Everybody survived. Chris Noble's the one that pays the ultimate price. Falls all the way back, and the top 7 are now all single files. They head to turn 3.
We heard him when we interviewed him. Your fan vote winner of the 53 of Chris Noble. When we interviewed him, we heard he was going to tighten up that setup. Didn't work out too well. He was still loose going through the middle of the corner. Got loose contact with TJ Crampton in the 61. That sent him into the grass. Luckily, both of them just took a short run through the grass. They were able to keep it out of other cars and keep it out of the wall as the battle for the lead continues. Hutchison now takes the lead in the 51. Severa still second place. It's Vincent Arthur in 3rd as they roar back to the stripe.
And Alan Dobbs is under more fire. Cole Hooper just got by him. Zach York is now passing him for this spot. And he's got Matthew Van Gelder right behind him as the battle for the lead once again. Here's Severa to the inside. He's got help from Vincent Arthur. Arthur goes to the high side, but they're still side by side for the lead.
Hutchison trying to pull away now with the lead. He'll keep the lead away from the 62. Arthur now to the outside of Severa for P2. He's going to have help from Shorba out there on the outside. Shorba will get past the 62 as well. Severa from 2nd to 1st. Huge run for the 24. Vincent Arthur dives into the inside in turn 1. Trying to clear the 51 of Hutchison. Not going to clear him just yet. Side by side heading turn he does. He'll clear the 51. Hutchison side by side with Shorba. They clean it out to single file, and your leader is Vincent Arthur ahead of Ralph Hutchison and Jacob Shorba.
If there were 5 laps to go, I think Shorba would have pulled to the inside, made it 3 wide, but instead he decided to push Vincent Arthur to the lead. He falls back to 3rd. Now Cole Hooper and Chris Severer are side by side for the 4th spot with Zach York right behind him. But Vincent Arthur out in front, facing some pressure from Hutchison. Can't get back by him yet. He gets close right to the bumper through 3 and 4, but that 24 hangs on to the lead, and Jacob Shorba, he's back into this thing in that 3rd spot.
Vincent Arthur in the 24, a great move up to the lead of this race, but not for long. Hutchison back to the inside, trying to take that spot back. He's not going to have a lot of help. Shorba's going to stay on the outside with Vincent Arthur in the 24. He will keep the lead, and coming back now on the outside, it's Shorba. Hutchison trying to get back by on the inside. Side by side, door to door, wheel to wheels. They come back across the stripe, trying to run on the outside. It's Shorba inside Hutchison, battling for 2nd place as Arthur pulls away with the lead.
Chris Severa and Cole Hooper made contact in turn 1 and 2 that last time around. They were able to keep it going, though. Severa has caught this lead pack, and now Hutchison got a little loose coming off turn number 2, able to hang on to it. Shorter facing the pressure from Severa, but right now this top 4 scooting away from everybody else. They want to settle this first stage amongst themselves.
First stage, 10 laps to go. It will end on lap number 30. Hutchison gonna look for that lead back. Door slammed on him by the 24 of Arthur. These top 4 are pulling away from the rest of the field. Hutchison makes a look back to the inside. He'll get to the inside. Shorba will run up on the outside line with the 24 of Arthur. Back to the inside goes Hutchison. Clears him before they even make it out of the corner. The 51 of Hutchison back to the lead. Arthur gonna have to go back to square 1 in 2nd place to get back by your race leader. What will Shorba do? How much does he want to win this stage? He's sitting there in P3. Can Severa climb back up with 9 laps to go in the stage? He sits in P4, about 4/10 back from this lead battle. Here comes Arthur back to the inside, looking for the spot. He'll get there in 3.
Great move last time by Hutchison. Caution's out. Back straightaway, we got trouble. Alan Dobbs, Matt White are around. Dobbs, who stayed out, he started on pole. He's got damage to that 22 machine, and the caution flag is out. Dobbs was running in the 10th spot when he went around, make it P11. Fighting for 10th. We'll get a replay here, but not what Dobbs was looking for. The only thing is now he has to come in and make a pit stop here in this stage.
And there's that tap there. It's just slight contact coming out of the corner. He got loose. You could see, Jacob, he was all over the wheel, sawing at it, trying to get it saved. Just couldn't do it. Matt White could not get it saved. Makes contact with Alan Dobbs. Look at Evan Longaker split the middle.
Yeah, he kept the foot to the floor and just barely made it through that. You'll see it right here. Right through the middle. Great job by Longacre to make it through there. Thankfully, not a lot of damage for these 2 guys that got involved here. Both were able to keep it off the inside wall, so no damage really for either of these guys. Great job by White, great job by Dobbs to keep it off of the inside wall and prevent themselves from getting too much damage. They're not out of this by any means, but Dobbs now kind of at an advantage because he'll be on fresher tires here. Plus, he just spun, so the tires that he has right now, they're pretty much shot anyway.
So this puts us back under the yellow flag. Now remember, caution laps do count here in the All-Star race as opposed to the All-Star Open that we had earlier on in the night. So that means that we will continue to lock down those laps, and we'll be going back to racing, I believe, with a little less than 5 to go, either 5 or 4 to go. And we're going to grab a word with the number 61 of TJ Crampton, currently running in P11, standing by with Jacob Hitz.
TJ, you're still alive out there. You've almost gotten this complete first stage done. Take us through your vantage point from that 61 machine. What are you seeing? How are you feeling out there?
I mean, it's crazy out here. I mean, I've started second, and I'm out back here in 11th because I've had 2 cars get loose in front of me, and I had to check out massively and had to go through the grass, but we have no damage, and just trying to ride here pretty much. I don't want to get into anyone else's mess. That wreck kind of scared me because that was right in front of me.
You had a bird's eye view of that incident. So far, as I mentioned, so far so good up there in P11. I'm curious, how do you think you scale up to compared to the guys out in front, Vincent Arthur, Ralph Hutchison, Jacob Shorba, Chris Severa? How do you think your car can handle between yourself and them?
I mean, I was moving through the field right there, so if I can get back up to the top 5, I think I have a shot for them.
We'll see what happens here. Best of luck to you, TJ, and hopefully we talk to you here in a little while.
Thank you, guys.
TJ Crampton, our in-race reporter. He sits P11 on the racetrack right now, as we'll probably have a restart with about 3 or 4 to go.
So leading the way here, it's the 24 of Vincent Arthur. He was able to get by the 51 to sit there now in the lead. We'll be going back to racing. 4 laps to go in stage number 1. And checking up with your open stage winners, the only one who is further down the order is Chris Noble. He was your fan vote winner, 4 laps down on the racetrack. Clayton Hoffman, stage 1 winner, sits there in 17th on the racetrack. We've been talking about stage 2 winner Chris Severa all night long so far. He sits there in 4th position. Then you go back to Matthew Van Gelder in the 16. He sits there in 7th place. So these open drivers still are having a good run out there. Clayton Hoffman had a little bit of a bad start. Something happened to him on the initial start of the race. He fell back to 1 lap down and had to pull into the pit lane. He's now back on your lead lap in P17, ready to go back to racing here at the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. The MSRA Premier Series, National Series, and Truck Series. A mixture of drivers from around the Midwest Sim Racing Association as we get ready to go back to racing in stage number 1. It's 4 laps to go in the stage. The flag is in the hand of Barnett, the flag man. The 24 on the loud pedal. We're back racing in stage 1.
Great restart for Vincent Arthur, kind of like everybody else that's been out in front, able to get on the loud pedal and just pull away. Almost some contact with Chris Severa on the restart. He was able to keep the car clean, and here comes Shorba, right down to the white line, to the inside for the lead. Hooper goes to the outside. Now he thinks about the middle going to turn number 3. Now he tries to cut down in front of Hutchison. That won't work. He's going to fall back and be side-by-side as they're still side-by-side for the lead.
Cole Hooper, MSRA National Series driver, won the last race at Mid-Ohio. He's side-by-side with the 51 of Ralph Hutchison. Up front, Shorba on the inside, Vincent Arthur on the outside. Arthur with a great run through the middle of the corner. Cole Hooper trying to make it 3-1, top of the racetrack. Shorba inside, help with the 51. He's got Chris Severa there as well, sitting in the wings in P5. On the inside, it's Shorba trying to clear the 24. He's not able to clear him just yet. Almost, he'll get him clear coming off turn 4. With 2 to go in the stage, it's Shorba leading the way at the line.
2 to go, and it's a snarling pack all behind Jacob Shorba. Hutchison wants it. Chris Severa wants it. I mean, Cole Hooper has been hungry back there. Zach York. All these guys want to get to the front. They've only got a lap and a half to get there. Shorba out in front, side by side for third. Hutchison, he's going to have to make the move here shortly to try and get this stage win.
Coming to the white flag here in stage number 1. You're on board with Ralph Hutchison in the number 51, trying to grab this stage 1 win. Back into turn number 1. It's Shorba out in front. Hutchison waiting in second place. Will he make a move for this stage win? Down into turn number 3. Car shuffling further back. Hooper looking for a spot on Chris Severa. He'll still be side by side with him for P4, but off turn 4, it's Jacob Shorba in the 30, walking away with your stage 1 win.
And what do you win by winning a stage? A laurel and a hearty handshake. You don't get too much. The big prize is only at the end. So Shorba, he's going to have to repeat this performance a couple of more times till he's able to win that $150. But a great start so far for Jacob Shorba, and we'll have to see what he can do to keep this thing going.
Well, luckily, we at least know that Shorba's fast, Hutchison's fast, Arthur, Hooper, Sivera, all fast. TJ Crampton with a great restart, rallies back into 6th to finish out that stage. David Santini, Zach York, Evan Longaker, and Kenny Meadows rounding out your top 10 there at the end of stage number 1 of the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race for the Midwest Sim Racing Association. Your All-Star Stage 1 winner presented by FSM Customs. FSM Customs offers custom button box builds for sim racers across different disciplines of racing. In addition to boxes, FSM also offers custom decals to customize your rig even more. Flip the switch on your sim rig and check out FSM Customs on Facebook. Pit stops beginning here in between the stages, not mandatory here, but these drivers want that fresh Goodyear rubber. They're all coming in on the lead lap.
Well, all except one, Matt White, who was involved in that crash to set up that last restart. He stays out. His tires are about 8 laps old. Everybody else that's on the lead lap, though, they're getting tires and fuel.
Everybody into their pit stalls. How quickly will these pit stops be, and will anybody go for 2 tires? Handful of drivers out and away. Shorba stuck in his box. I believe a handful of drivers did take 2. Alan Dobbs, 2-tire stop. Vincent Arthur wins the race off pit road with 4. Hutchison, Hooper, Crampton, York, Santini all with 4. Everybody else completely down the leaderboard, taking 4 tires on that pit stop, except for the 22 of Alan Dobbs. He takes 2 tires on that strategy. We were talking about him having an adjusted tire strategy. Are we seeing it here, Jacob? Are we seeing this 2-tire stop be a strategy for the 22?
Well, it doesn't matter because he's coming back onto pit road.
That could have been very well been a mistake.
It's possible. That really doesn't make a ton of sense to me, just because, I mean, taking 2 tires here, you're pretty much just setting yourself up for disaster. We saw what happened last time. Dobbs tried something different strategy-wise. He wound up towards the middle of the pack and got involved in a wreck. Now he's going to be at the back of the pack because he has to pit again, which I'm sure he's not going to like. So that's going to be interesting for him. But Matt White is going to be in a similar situation to Dobbs. He may be able to hang out there for a lap, but as soon as one car gets past him, he's going to fall like an anchor through the rest of this field.
So White presumably will lead the field to the green flag here. He will have the best of the drivers from that first stage, Arthur, Hutchison, Hooper, Crampton, and more, to start in his rear view mirror. Stage 1 completed. We enter stage number 2. This stage will reach the end at lap number 50. So this is only going to be a short stage. Once the caution ends, it'll only be about 15 laps or so. And then we'll be right back under the yellow flag for this stage break. Field getting 2 by 2. We'll step away for a moment here on Podium Esports. We'll go side by side as the field gets ready to go back to racing. You're watching the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race live from the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. Field entering turn number 3 as we welcome you back here to the Legacy Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jacob Hitz, Joshua Lee here with you in the booth with Ryan Bauer down in the virtual production trailer. We're ready to go racing here in stage number 2 in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race for the Midwest Sim Racing Association. Matt White leads the field to green, pace car down and away into pit lane. He's on the loud pedal. We're underway. 15 laps here in stage 2.
Great restart for Matt White. He's going to need that, though, in those old tires. He's going to get eaten up as soon as Vincent Arthur or Hutchison or somebody gets to the back bumper. Doesn't take Arthur long, though. He is a rocket off of turn 2.
Going to the outside line, trying to power around White. He will get there. One car up by the wall. That's Cole Hooper. Almost taps it. He leaves it off. 3 wide further back. Zach York in the middle. Hutchison with a great move to the inside of Matt White as he falls back on the outside line. Hutchison with a gutsy move to the inside, but he makes it work as Crampton moves up into P3. White still falling back on the outside. Here comes Zach York and Cole Hooper to the back bumper of the 48.
Yeah, that 48 is in the way right now. He needs like a 4th line to get up out of the way as they're going to come together down the back straightaway. Zach York shoves his way 4 wide down the back stretch. I don't know how they made it work out on the flat, and they're going to hang on for dear life. Wow!
The 95 of Evan Longaker almost made it 4 wide going through the corner. They decided against it. They get it back to 2 wide, but insane racing. Here the All-Star race in stage number 2. Still 2 by 2. 3 rows, almost 4 rows deep, all battling for the 5th spot. Santini will take it. Longaker up to P6. White down to 7th. Here comes your open stage 1 winner, Clayton Hoffman. He'll move his way up into P8 now, battling Zach York in the 49. It's Hooper and Meadows side by side back from there.
Top 4 pulled away from the rest of this group just because the 48 of Matt White is holding up the party back here. Right now, he's in trouble. He needs a lot of help. Looks like he's settled in for a moment. He gets loose off the corner. Hangs on to it, though, down on the flat. Everybody else is going to be able to get by him here down the back straightaways. We got a 4-car battle for the lead. Here comes Arthur to the inside.
Vincent Arthur wants the lead back. He's side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel with the 51. Moves him up the racetrack. They stay off the wall, still side by side. At the line, it was by about a tire length for Vincent Arthur. Side by side now for second as Hutchison falls back on the outside. He goes side by side with TJ Crampton in the 61. The 30 of Jacob Shorba makes it 3 wide for second place. Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Arthur pulls away with the lead. Shorba will take P3, battling now for second place with the 51 of Hutchison, as Santini on the outside is going to grab the 4th spot away from Crampton.
Santini, I mean, he is full up there in a hurry. He's seemingly come out of nowhere. He's in 4th, looking for 3rd on the inside of Hutchison. Hutchison's been able to make that outside line work thus far. Shorba comes up to kind of pick up his draft, but that 61 is pushing the 79 into that 3rd spot. Here comes Longacre on the inside as well.
Hooper now on the outside line. He joins the fight. TJ Crampton in the 61 sits in 5th. You're on board with Longaker as he looks up at Crampton, Santini, Hutchison, and more up ahead of him. Shorba on the back bumper now of your leader, the 24 of Vincent Arthur. Remember, this stage ends lap 50. We have about 9 laps to go now remaining here in this stage. They work back into turn 3.
3 wide for 3rd. Here comes Santini up the middle, Hutchison on the outside, and you got Crampton down low. They're all slammed together as here comes Cole Hooper. He's caught this group. They're going to try and make it 4 wide down the front straightaway. That won't work, or will it? They make contact up the middle. They're all going to hang on. Hooper is going to pass Hutchison and Santini for the moment, but now here comes everybody else back on the high side. Longacre's back there as well.
Back into turn 3. Up front, it's Arthur versus Shorba. Shorba not able to get by yet. 3 wide now as they fight for P4. That's Hooper on the inside. Ralph Hutchison all the way on the outside. Longaker going to peek his nose there on the inside of David Santini. Santini will be stuck in the middle. Entering turn...
Oh, we got the apron. They saved it.
There.
Wow! Longacre got the apron, slid up into Santini, who got into Hutchison. That should have been a big crash as they almost spin further behind, and now they do. Around goes Ryan Struck. He's going to save it off of 4. Wow!
Everybody saving their cars here in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. Grabbing a replay. Take a look at Ryan Strunk. Contact from behind as well. And he keeps the car under him. What a save for the 77. Unfortunately falls down into P15. But the battle up front is between Arthur and Shorba at the line. 5 to go in the stage.
Yeah, those guys are battling really hard up at the front. Now that everything's kind of calmed down in the back, I think we're going to be able to do this without a caution here. It was getting scary for a moment, kind of the eye of the storm there from 5th on back. It's all kind of split apart. The only battle back here, other than for 5th, between Longacre and Centini, is Zach York and Clayton Hoffman. Right now, it's just a 5-car breakaway at the front. They're starting to accordion together. TJ Crampton is reeling in Shorba, and Hooper and Hutchison just a little farther ways behind him, but Shorba trying to do everything he can to make a move on that 24 and win this second stage.
At the line, they will transition over to 4 laps to go. The run from Shorba down to the inside, coming through the short chute, heading into 1. A huge run for the 30, trying to take it to the inside, not gonna do much. Crampton now will have come to the 8 of the back bumper of the 30, pushing Shorba into the corner. Shorba will take the lead, clears the 24 of Arthur. Will he keep it? Yes, he will. Here comes Crampton down to the inside of Arthur, side by side for second.
Our in-race reporter doing a great job in that second spot. Got help from Cole Hooper. He's going to take second away. He's going to have a chance here. We've got 3 to go. He'll have an opportunity to get to that 30 and try and make a move as Hooper's left the racetrack. Here comes Hutchison, 3 wide on the inside down the backstretch for 3rd.
Hutchison wants the spot side by side now as they enter the corner with Cole Hooper. The 95 sitting in 6th place, side by side for 4th now between Hooper and Hutchison. At the line, 2 to go in the stage.
Crampton trying to do everything he can. He's going to have 1 or 2 shots left. He needs help from Vincent Arthur. If they can move that 30 up the hill and out of the way, I think the 61 is going to have an opportunity. Looks to the inside. I think he might be a bit too far back. Shorba closes the door. He hits him. He's going to spin him out. Into the wall goes Shorba.
Shorba, the race leader in the stage.
Oh!
As well. Hard contact from the 50 of Jeffrey Meyer. The 30 of Jacob Shorba. Your stage 1 winner almost.
They're still crashing.
Is going to be
in the wall
of this race.
Dobbs, Dyer, and Noble just crashed off turn 4 as well, trying to avoid the cautions being out for more than 10 seconds, and these guys are still piling in a vicious crash turn 4.
How quickly in the All-Star race you can turn from hero to 0. Crampton with an apology to the 30 of Shorba. The contact was made in the corner. Here's what happened further back. Shorba came down the track, and here comes the car in front, and right into the wall goes Dobbs. A disastrous day for Dobbs turns even worse there in the 22 as we enter into the caution that will also be your stage 2 break. So your stage 2 winner will be the 61 of Crampton. Here's another look at that incident.
Yeah, the 61 just drives it in way too deep. Gets into the 30, had to check up a little bit there, the 30 did, and just sitting right in the middle of the racetrack with the rest of the pack coming. Mayer had nowhere to go. And then back here, the 22, he loses it on a break and trying to avoid, and just nowhere for the 2 to go. I mean, it's just wrong place, wrong time back here for these guys, just trying to get on the brakes and avoid what they can. It's tough when they're sitting right in the middle of the racetrack in a corner where it's pretty much blind on exit. And that's what's going to happen here for these guys. 22, he spun either way, probably would have hit the wall either way. Just the 2 was in the wrong place there. The 53, he lost it trying to avoid pit road and nosed it up into the outside wall. Our fan vote winner.
That was the 2 of Matt Dyer, also getting involved in this one. Here's Noble, down to the bottom, tried to get it off of pit road, did not want to take that route, and he ended up heading back into the wall on the outside of the racetrack. So this caution also brings out our stage break for stage number 2. So your stage winner is the number 61 of TJ Crampton. So he grabs your stage 2 win here in the All-Star race. And this winner presented by Bearded Sim Racer, our own producer here at Podium Esports, Ryan Bauer, sponsoring tonight's All-Star festivities. You can find out more information and content at www.facebook.com/Bearded Sim Racer. So under the break for stage number 2 now, Jacob. This is going to be a very interesting third stage because it's kind of like that junior year phase. This is the stage of the race where everybody knows what kind of car they have, but now they need to get themselves into a position to possibly win the race, because this stage will end on lap 70. So that means that we're only going to have a 15-lap final stage with the caution, only about 10-lap final stage. This time is quickly running out. These drivers need to decide when to make the moves, and they need to make them soon.
You're right. They are going to have to make these moves soon because there's only so much time left. And I tell you what, you know, for somebody that's in the 6th spot like Clayton Hoffman, he's got to go now. And I know these guys were aggressive there late on that restart where they were bunched up 5th on back. Everybody's on the same strategy here. So it's all hands on deck. We've got 14 guys on the lead lap. Alan Dobbs has parked the car. He's done for the night. So we've got, again, 14 guys on the lead lap. And really, all 14 of them have a chance to win this race. There's no doubt in my mind about it, just because these guys have been incredible with how close they've been racing, and everybody seems to be on a pretty even playing field. But clean air is king.
Well, really quickly before we go back to racing here in stage number 3, we have Jacob Shorba joining us here in the booth. Jacob, what happened there? It just looked like some contact with the 61, and you ended up with a banged up race car in pit road.
Well, I'm not mad. That's a racing incident. I'm not going to blame that on him. I was trying to get kind of low. I have no idea how he stuck on the gas as long as he did. That was just nuts. I figured, he's going to let off eventually. So I start to let off to try to get the car repositioned on exit. And maybe I was a little too low, but he got into me. He didn't check up. He didn't have a lot of time, and that's just the way it goes. It sucks, but it was a lot of fun up front.
Well, as we go back to racing and Crampton leads the way, I got to ask, who are you choosing to win this All-Star race now that you're taken out?
Any one of the GLM guys, please. I want to see it. Anyone who runs their paints, we definitely want to see one of them win. I just want a great finish. I want a great end of the night and a deserving winner to get the $150 from it. Thanks to all the sponsors who went and did that, because there's a lot of moving parts to make that possible.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here in the commentary box, and enjoy the show here at the podium. Already trouble coming off of turn number 4. Call around in the apron. It's Matt White in the 48.
Yeah, and I think somebody else got into him. It might have been Ryan Strunk. Great car. That's all I saw, and he just lost it on his own on the outside. Matthew, he barely made it through the 16. Matthew Van Gelder barely made it through, and Matt Dyer just had nowhere to go. Wrong place at the wrong time.
On board with the 16 of Van Gelder. White just lost it. Contact made. Luckily not a lot. Van Gelder just with a slight bit of tap there. And that sent him right down into the grass after turn number 4. On board with the 2 of Matt Dyer. Ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
he just barely got him.
Just a kiss, just enough to get him up out of the way.
An unfortunate day for Matt Dyer as well. Caught up in both the last 2 cautions here in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star race. So the field now pacing back behind the wheel of the iRacing pace car. And the laps also starting to wind down here in the 3rd stage. Jacob, now with this another caution, nobody coming into the pit lane. This is kind of just a reset for these drivers and another bunch up on the restart. This time Hutchison's going to be in control.
Yeah, and Hutchison, we've seen how good he is in clean air. So you got to imagine that he's really looking forward to this restart to kind of flex his muscle and just pull away from everybody else.
Well, as we continue here under caution for stage 3, we'll take a look at the upcoming events here around the world of Podium Esports. Starting tomorrow night, the MPI Cup Series, the finale round in the Championship 4 from the Kansas Speedway. That's tomorrow night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Podium Esports. Monday Night Racing returns on Monday night, presented by Napa. Dirt Street Stocks at Knoxville. That's bound to be an exciting one. You can find that June 14th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Podium2. PCA Sim Racing Series 6 from Imola on June 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find that over on youtube.com/PCA Sim Racing. Then on Thursday night, the next round of the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series, the final race of the first round. We'll be cutting over 500 hopeful eNASCAR drivers down to the top 70 to compete in the second round of the Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series. You can catch that twitch.tv/Podium Esports on June 17th, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Then make sure you join us in just a couple of weeks' time. We're back to points racing here in the MSRA Premier Series for round 19 as we take the NASCAR Cup Series cars to Road America. That's July 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on twitch.tv/Podium2 and everywhere that you're watching tonight's Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race for the Midwest Sim Racing Association. Field will get doubled back up, and as we go back to green, we're going to have 12 to go here in the stage. Jacob, do you think they might be settled out now, or do you think we're going to see back to the 2-3 wide racing, almost Daytona, Talladega-like racing that we saw in the first two stages?
Well, we got 13 cars left. I think it's still going to be as chaotic as before. Yep.
And as the field works their way through turns 1 and 2, a bit of unexpected drivers up front. I mean, you look at David Santini, MSRA National Series driver. Same thing with Cole Hooper, Chris Severa. Coming off of the heels of his open stage win, stage 2 win in the open, he sits in 5th. Kenny Meadows, another National Series driver, outside of row 3 here on the restart in 6th. Vincent Arthur trying to race his way back up to the front. He's in the 24 in 7th place. Clayton Hoffman, stage 1 winner for the open, on the outside of row 4 in 8th. Zach York, Evan Longaker share the 10th spot as we get ready to go back to racing here in stage number 3. We're back underway from Legacy Charlotte.
Ooh, TJ Cramden did not get a good restart there on the outside line. Santini even with him as they head to turn 1. Crampton must have spun the tires or something, and Cole Hooper can't be very happy right behind him in that 99 car. That inside line just going to kind of fill the gap and move on.
Fighting for second, it's Santini on the inside, Crampton outside. Severa now gonna power past Crampton, trying to also power past Crampton is Cole Hooper in the 99, sitting there in 5th. He's got Vincent Arthur all over his back bumper. Arthur moves up to the outside for a moment, falls right back into line to look for another way around the number 99. Roadblock in front of the 24 as they go 2 by 2, multiple rows deep in turn 2.
Yeah, this isn't as wild, though, as we've seen earlier on today. As here comes Santini looking to the outside. He's got to run. He's going to move to the outside. Severa to the inside. Cramden just continues to fall back. He's going to get split here through 3 and 4. York on the inside. Meadows on the outside. They're all going to hang on for now. As Cramden's just hanging on for dear life, stuck in the middle. Not where he wants to be, but Ralph Hutchinson out in front. Severa second. Then it's Santini now getting shuffled out of the fray here off of 2.
They settle it back to 2 wide as Meadows falls back behind the 61 of Crampton. Up front, it's Hutchison leading the way. Here comes Chris Severa trying to make a move to the inside. Door slammed on him by the 51 of Hutchison on board with Severa, the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Gas and Go Racing number 62, trying to get back to the lead. He won stage 2 in the Open, trying to win stage 3 here in the All-Star race and move on to win the entire thing. To the inside now comes Cole Hooper in the 99 from the MSRA National Series. Side by side, they make it 3 wide. Here comes the 24 Vincent Arthur to the inside for third. He powers around both of them to go into P2.
He's not going to be clear, though, off of turn 4. It's going to be tight here, 3 wide, 3 by 3. Severa and Hooper make contact. They all hang on. They're 3 wide, 2 rows deep. Severa's going to lose 5 spots down the front straightaway. Here comes Crampton. He's back in this thing. He's in 4th. He's looking 3 wide for second down towards the apron, and he's going to do it, putting Arthur in the middle.
A bold move from the 61. He gets down to the bottom of the racetrack. Hooper trying to close the door, couldn't do it in time. York now to the inside of the 24 of Vincent Arthur. He split him in the middle. Here comes Zach York now, still 3 wide. Santini outside, Arthur middle. They settle it back to 2 wide, multiple rows deep. They're all fighting for P2 on the racetrack as Hutchison pulls away by a solid 6/10 up at the front of the pack.
Yeah, he's gone, and these guys need to team up to get him here. Vincent Arthur, Cole Hooper, they just shove their way into turn number 3. Great job by Arthur, pretty much a bump draft there. That's going to allow these guys to close back in on Hutchison, and when they catch up to him, he's going to be a sitting duck. He's going to have nowhere to go, have everywhere to block, and he's going to have everybody ready to pounce on him.
He looked in his mirror and over the iRacing voice chat said, "Oh no," when he saw them all getting back to single file because they're right back on his mirror. Here comes Cole Hooper looking for the lead. Hutchison blocks the inside. Arthur now going to move to the inside of Hooper for second place. Side by side between the Hooper Motorsports number 99 and the Great Lakes Motorsports number 24 on the inside. It's Arthur looking for the spot. He'll take the spot. Crampton now trying to get back up into P3. He takes that spot. Hooper now back to 4th as Santini now tries to work around him for the spot.
Hooper shut the door on Santini, and I thought Santini was about to kick the door down, also known as put Hooper in the wall, but they're able to keep it clean. Top 4 start to break away for a moment. Arthur peeks out at the last second looking for the lead. That won't work. Crampton closes in on the inside line. The top 5 all single files, double wide. Between Clayton Hoffman and Zach York make it the top 6 single file as Hoffman continues to sink through the field. Here comes Arthur for the lead in turn 1.
4 to go in this stage as they're side by side for the lead. Arthur peeks his nose to the inside, side by side, door banging down the back straightaway. Hutchison outside, inside, it's Vincent Arthur with help from the 61 of Crampton. He'll get shoved to the lead as Hutchison now battles with the 61 for second place. Don't count out Cole Hooper. He still sits in P4. Don't count out David Santini. He powers around the outside of Chris Severa for the 5th spot. They're still side by side further back, still side by side for second as closing off the door on Zach York. Goes to number 99, contacts York into the 79 of Santini. They save it as they come back to the back straightaway.
Great save by both of those guys. I thought they were going around for sure, caught it late, but they were able to hang on to the race car. Hutchison's not done yet on Vincent Arthur. He closed in a great deal coming through turn number 3. He's going to try and set something up here. If he can't get there in turn 1, I'm sure he's going to try and do it down the back straightaway. Crampton right behind him. Pretty much a 5-6 car breakaway as they're still 3 wide further back. They're able to make it work for the time being. It's all Vincent Arthur, but Hutchison is right there.
2 to go in the stage. They'll take the white flag this time. Crampton looking for the spot. They are side by side. Now closing the door goes Vincent Arthur for the lead. Hutchison sits in second place. Crampton diving to the inside. He tried to. Gets the door slammed on him by the 51. Across the line. 1 to go in the stage.
Hutchison almost turned Arthur. Arthur came over the radio and said, "Thanks for not wrecking me." It was close, almost an exact replay of what we saw happen with Crampton and Shorba at the end of the last stage. But right now, Hutchison's got one last opportunity, and he may have to use that bumper to get that 24 out of the way as they come through 3 and 4.
Here they come onto the front straightaway to close out the stage. Up front, it's Vincent Arthur. He'll take the stage win. 3 stages, 3 different winners as they come across the line.
And we're still racing here. Hutchison just got put in the wall here in turn 2. He just lost a bunch of spots. Caution's out. Crampton moved Hutchison up in the wall in turns 1 and 2. after this thing was over. The caution flag didn't get waved till we got to the back straightaway. Here's the replay.
And there was confusion on the drivers. You could hear Vincent Arthur saying, I think that's the stage. And a little bit of connection issues also involving for the 51 of Hutchison. Unfortunate, he'll get put in the wall. It looks like he will get to grab his positions back, so he will be in second place on the restart. Here's another look at that connection issue contact, and unfortunately nothing Hutchison could have done about that one. As the stage break is now, we are in the stage break for stage number 3. And we will be going back to racing after this for only a handful of laps in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. So with the end of this stage, your winner is the 24 of Vincent Arthur, and the stage winner presented by Strunk PC. Check out Strunk PC on Facebook for all of your computer repair needs. And it's also time for the Strunk PC ones to watch of the drivers that we're looking at to win tonight's All-Star Race in the final stage as the field brings it down into the pit lane. Jacob, who do you have your eyes on as grabbing the win in this final stage and this final stint to grab the win in the All-Star Race?
It's going to come down to a race of attrition. Who's going to be able to keep their car clean and get it to victory lane without getting involved too many accidents? Chris Severa's been strong all night long. If he can keep his car clean, I think Chris Severa is going to be the guy that goes to victory lane and wins the $150 tonight.
Vincent Arthur missing his stall there on his pit stop, but it doesn't look like it hurt him too much. He will fall down to third, but Hutchison and York, 2 tires on that stop.
Yeah, and this is going to play out interesting because I would imagine Hutchison and York have the same amount of tires left in the pits. Them taking 2 tires, I think, sets them up for disaster. It's going to work in the short run, but if we make it more than a lap, they are going to get eaten alive by the rest of this pack and very well could set up our next caution flag.
So by the time we go back to racing, assuming they'll grab 2 to go from the flagman this time by, we'll be going racing with the final 10-lap stint. Jacob, that is no time whatsoever. And the way they've been racing like it's the white flag lap every lap. How are they going to race when it's actually the white flag lap?
It's going to get sloppy. We're going to see a lot of guys making it 3 wide. We've already seen 4 wide tonight. They may even try 5 wide down the back straightaway at one point, especially if everybody gets checked up. See people go down to the inside wall. Only problem is they're going to have to come back up the racetrack, and there's only so much room in the corners. They can only make it about 3 wide. If you can make it 4 wide without crashing, I think that deserves a gold star or something. It's going to be very, very difficult for these guys. There isn't a ton of room here. It's not like Auto Club where they can send it 6 lanes wide. You know, you're going to have to be mindful that there's only so much room on this racetrack. And you got to keep room for everybody else on the racetrack as well.
Well, as we continue to work here in the caution period, in between stages 3 and the final stage here in the All-Star Race, standing by with Jacob Hitz, it's TJ Crampton in the number 61, currently running 5th on the racetrack.
Well, TJ, you're still out there. You're still in contention. You have a strong race car. We've seen it really come alive in that last stage. What do you think you can do to get these $150 here tonight?
I mean, you know, I don't really know. We got Vincent ahead of me. I mean, Ralph has some damage. I don't know how much that's going to affect him, though. But, you know, I feel like I'm just going to have to stay behind Vincent and plan my move later.
Any idea of when you're going to make the move? I know you don't want to give your entire plan away here on the broadcast. Other drivers may be watching, but I'm curious just to pick your brain a little bit of what you think you may try to do here, what you think may unfold here.
I mean, I don't know. I plan ahead with my pit stops. I don't quite plan ahead of how the race is going to end because there's so many opportunities or availabilities of stuff going to happen. You know, I could get involved in a wreck. I could, you know, get loose and spin out. There's just so much different ways of what could happen. It's really hard to decide what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it.
We'll let you get to it. Best of luck from the office, and potentially we'll talk to you in 10 laps when this thing is said and done.
All right, thanks, guys.
TJ Crampton, P5 as we get ready for the restart. And this is going to be something right here.
10 laps. 10 laps to settle it out. All bets are off. You either win or you wreck trying. This is the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. The final stage is underway. 10 laps left.
And Zach York did not get a great restart. That's already going to put him behind. Remember, he's on 2 tires. Hutchison may have a chance for a moment, but Zach York, he's trial by fire now. 2 tires stuck on the outside line. They're already fanning out 3 wide, trying 4 wide at one spot. This is it right here.
3 wide as they work into the corner.
Whoa! It's around!
2 wide. Contact. Hutchison loose on the outside.
Saved it!
The 51 saves it on the outside line, but he loses every position now down into P13, P14 as he crosses the line.
So much for those 2 tires. Those did not work very well. It worked like an umbrella with a whole bunch of holes in it. He just fell all the way to the back of the field. He's going to need at least 1 more caution to have a chance and get back up in this thing. The 2 cars out in front, Crampton and Arthur, are breaking away. They're 3 wide behind him. Zach York, up the hill they go. They're hanging on. Cole Hooper hangs on. David Santini involved in this. Here comes the 77 of Ryan Strunk. He gets turned around. He hits Kenny Meadows. They slide through the grass. Caution is out. We've got the 53 Chris Noble up in the wall. Kenny Meadows continues to slide down the inside. Noble hits the inside wall in turn 1, and the caution is out.
Well, that is what Ralph Hutchison really wanted there. The field's going to get punched back up, and that was space running out. Just how quickly real estate opens up on the racetrack here, Jacob. It can quickly go away. That's exactly what happened there as they trying to go 3 wide heading through the dog leg.
Like I described it earlier, like trying to shove a marshmallow into a parking meter at that part of the racetrack. Kenny Meadows was doing everything he can. It's just Strunk just didn't know that there was a car to his inside. They made contact. Strunk got turned around, had it saved for a moment, then they made contact, spun through the grass, and they just couldn't quite hang on to it. Not quite sure where the 53 of Chris Noble got his involvement with. It looks like he just went to the grass to try and avoid, got dirt on his tires, and just got the outside wall.
So that brings out another caution. And by the way we're looking right now, I believe mostly everybody staying out on the racetrack up front will be most likely be going green with 4 to go. Which if we thought going green with 10 to go was going to be intense, wait till we go green flag racing with 4 laps to go. Now remember, if we do get another caution after this restart, we have 3 green-white checkered attempts available to us to try and get an official finish to this race that is under the green flag. If we go racing with 4 to go, which is what it looks like we will be now as the field has taken 2 to go under this pacing cycle, we'll be racing with 4 to go. If a caution comes out from there, we'll go under green-white checker. But if not, once the leader takes the white flag, it will end under the checkered flag, no matter how much happens on that final lap. Man, Jacob, this is going to get even more exciting. Like I said, we were wondering what's going to happen with 10 to go. This is going to be a restart with 4 to go. All bets are already off, and they're even more off the table now as they get back going.
Yeah, this is going to be something here. You took the amount of time that these guys had left, and you cut it in half. If you thought that last restart was insane, just wait until this one, because the gloves are off at this point. You know, their belts are as tight as they can get it. They can't get the belts tighter anymore without cutting off circulation to certain appendages. It's just, this is it right here. If you nail this restart, you're in great shape. If you biff this restart, you're probably not recovering from it unless the big one strikes.
As our good friend Larry Mack, America's crew chief, would say, reach up there and pull those belts tight just one more time. And the lights are still on the pace car, so we'll actually be going green with 3 laps to go. Even less time than we were expecting, Jacob. That means even more intensity from these drivers out there on the track.
Yeah, this is something.
Now, when we go back to racing, it will be the 24 of Arthur up front. We just spoke to TJ Crampton before that last restart. He'll be on the outside of the front row in 2nd place. Zach York, he's on that same two-tire strategy that Ralph Hutchison was on. He's up there in P3, while Hutchison did pit under that last caution to both fix repairs and grab 4 tires. He's now scored in 13th. Clayton Hoffman, your open stage 1 winner, up there in P4 on the racetrack. And right behind him, stage 2 winner from the Open tonight. That's Chris Sivera in the 62.
Yeah, he's my pick to watch, and he's on the inside, which I think the inside is preferred on the restarts, just because typically the car on the outside has struggled on the restarts all night long. I think Zach York is in a decent spot, but you got to remember he took 2 tires. He is disadvantaged compared to everybody else. It's going to be rough here for this 49 on the restart, especially since those outside tires, those right side tires, are now also heat cycled.
So here we go. 3 laps to settle it here at Charlotte. If we get another caution, we'll be going into overtime tonight for a green-white checkered. If not, we'll be green for 3 laps, and then the checkered flag will fly. Who will it fly over? Vincent Arthur has been dominant all night. We've been talking about the 24 up front every single stage. The 61 at TJ Crampton trying to spoil the party. You talk about spoiling the party. How about Zach York? He's been further down the order all night, up 6 spots from where he originally started the day. He's in 3rd. The 2 open stage winners, Hoffman and Sivera, they round out your top 5. Will somebody from outside the top 5 have a run at the win? It's 3 laps to go. We're back underway in the All-Star race.
Crampton got a decent restart, but everybody behind him didn't. He's not going to have as much drafting help here through 1 and 2. Zach York is all over the back bumper of that 24, but they are stacked up through turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, York looks to the inside, almost turns Arthur. They're able to hang on. York stays glued to that inside line, peeking to the inside. Sivera stays down there as well through 3 and 4.
Almost making contact with the 24, side by side for 3rd. Sivera going to take over P3 from Crampton, trying to join him down there. It's Clayton Hoffman in the 12. At the line, 2 to go. Arthur leads, covering the door on the 49 of York. York's now going to peek back to the inside, almost makes contact with the 24. What do we do down the back straightaway as they work down the back? On the outside line, it's Vincent Arthur trying to cover off the spot. Zach York leading the rest of the pack. They're all single file, now going side by side as Chris Sivera goes up to the outside in the 62. Here comes Hoffman to 3rd. Hoffman will clear him for 3rd. They come across the line. 1 to go, sponsored by Canterbury RV in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race for the Midwest Sim Racing Association. Hoffman to the outside as Zach York for 2nd place. Hoffman will take that spot as he works the outside line, but up in front, it's all Vincent Arthur in the 24 trying to put it home and get the win in the All-Star Race. Through turns 3 and 4, still side by side for 2nd place between New York and
there they go.
Hoffman make contact into the wall. They go back behind, but your winner, Vincent Arthur in the 24, wins the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race.
He just got so far out in front. Zach York on those 2 tires, it worked for a moment. He just couldn't get back by him, couldn't get to Vincent Arthur after he pushed him out in front. Nobody could get back by Zach York there. You had teammates in Sivera and Hoffman try to do it. Just couldn't happen, but Vincent Arthur certainly put on a whale of a show there on that last restart. He did what he had to do in order to get the job done, and he is $150 richer here tonight at Charlotte.
What a race, what a finish. We were talking about what the drivers will be willing to do. Arthur defended like his life depended on it, and he gets the win in the All-Star race. You also talk about Vincent Arthur. Last time we were live here for the MSRE Premier Series on Podium Esports, he got the win in the VFW Memorial 600. It wasn't 400 laps, it was 85. It wasn't the Gen 6 cars, it was the next gen. It wasn't modern Charlotte, it was the legacy Charlotte. But he still gets it done here in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race. Arthur gets it done for Great Lakes Motorsports. In second place, it was Zach York. A great run for the 49 here tonight. Cole Hooper, MSRA National Series driver. A great run against Premier Series drivers to finish in third. TJ Crampton, Chris Sivera round out your top 5. David Santini, Ryan Strunk, Matt Dyer, Chris Noble, and Ralph Hutchison rallies back for a top 10.
11th, Matthew Van Gelder. He won that last open stage, brings it home on 11th. Evan Longacre in 12th. Kenny Meadows in 13th. Clayton Hoffman, who won the first stage in the open, finishes 14th. Matt White, he struggled all night long, had a couple of incidents. He finishes 31 laps down. We had 14 guys finish on the lead lap. Everybody else did not finish. White, 15, 31 laps down. Dobbs, he had a tough night. Remember, he started on pole. He 34 laps down in the 16th spot for him. Chris Hansen, 17th. Jeffrey Meyer, 18th. Jacob Shorba, he won that first stage. He finishes in the 19th position, and that rounds out the grid for the All-Star race tonight.
An exciting finish to tonight's race. And we have your race winner standing by with us, the man $150 richer, the 24 of Vincent Arthur. Vincent, you won a couple of weeks ago for points in the Premier Series in the VFW Memorial 600, and we're back on Podium Esports, and you walk away with the All-Star race win. How much does this mean to you and the Great Lakes Motorsports team?
Oh, this means just about everything. I mean, I had about 30 laps in this car coming into it. Glenn Ballard did such a good job with it. Arguably, right now, I'm more excited than I was when I won the Coke 600. I mean, this race is it's a sprint. The draft is absolutely massive in these things. It's so hard to defend. I thought I was a sitting duck there when the caution came out. I knew it was going to be a 3-lap sprint, but this car was on freaking rails. Just cannot thank Glenn Ballard enough. I mean, this thing was a rocket ship, and I am so excited that I was able to bring this home for Great Lakes Motorsports and Full Tilt and everybody over at the team.
How intense was that racing out there for you? Because we saw it at the end of that race. You were defending all you could down the bottom of the racetrack. It looked like Daytona or Talladega out there from us up here in the booth. Is that what it felt like down there inside behind the wheel?
Oh yeah, I mean, you had to keep your foot in it. I mean, if you didn't, you were going to get run over. And the way these cars handle, I mean, iRacing needs to do some serious work on them because they do not handle like they should at all. We go down in the corner and it just, it'll either plow or get really loose. There's no real, sign of anything happening. Besides that, it was definitely like Talladega, especially that last restart, literally blocking to the white line. I knew I couldn't let him get under me because I was going to get freight trained on the top. But, I mean, this is the closest thing you're going to get to a plate race without a plate race. And I hope these things don't actually race like this come next year and come the final build.
Well, as we continue on in the MSRA Premier Series, we'll continue your campaign over there. You go to Nashville Super Speedway next week, another new track on the iRacing service. You think you'll be able to walk away with a win there? You didn't get it at Sonoma, but you were able to walk away with it at Charlotte. Do you think you can get it done on 2 in a row for oval races?
I hope so. I got a lot of faith in my guys. Rob Carl over there, he's doing a lot of work. Jonathan Delaney, I know, has been doing a lot of testing. I think we're ready for it. I haven't done any laps on the track personally. I just bought it today, but we'll definitely be testing for it, and we'll give our best effort out there, and we'll see if we can bring it home. I think this year has been really successful for us. I think a lot more successful than we may have been anticipating, but it's welcome change, and I think we can go there and have a solid outing.
Thank you so much for joining us here in the Podium Esports commentary booth. That is your All-Star Race winner tonight, Vincent Arthur in the number 24. Now standing by with Jacob Pitts, the number 49 driver, Zach York, second place finish here tonight.
Zach, that 2-tire strategy was bold. I didn't think there was any way it would work. You were able to come home in second place, just short of the $150, but still a great outing for you tonight. Take us through your afternoon, your evening.
Yeah, we just didn't have track position in number 9, Flying Arrows MTM Ford Mustang. It's just about defending the low line. That's really the only place. And if you had someone behind you pushing you, you'd get great runs down the back stretch and the front stretch. But yeah, we had a fast car, finally got track position with the 2 tires, and since the tires barely wear, we were able to keep it up front and contend for the finish for the win.
Do you think you would have had anything for the 24 Vincent Arthur, or do you think his car was just too strong for you to compete?
I think if we had a couple better pushes by the 99, we would have been able to win. I think I should have been more aggressive on the restart, diving it in, trying to get that inside position. If I got that, then everyone else would have just been battling like I was with Clayton and everyone behind me.
And before we send you on your way here to celebrate the second place finish, anybody you want to thank or say hi to?
Yeah, Henry Keller, my spotter, Grayson Sullivan, the team owner, Flying Arrows, Michael Carey, Toby Chrysler, Maine Maritime Academy, and everyone at Flying Arrows for putting this set together.
Well, congratulations on the second place finish. I'm sure not what you were looking for. You wanted one place higher, but a great finish nonetheless. And we'll see you around.
Thank you, guys.
Zach York, second place finisher here from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, now joined by your third place finisher, Cole Hooper, driver of the number 99 tonight. And Cole, it was a great run for you in that Great Lakes Motorsports number 99. Obviously more known for the MSRA National Series, and you were the winner a couple of weeks ago at Mid-Ohio, and now in the All-Star race. How did it feel to get out there against a lot of those drivers from the Premier Series and get out there and go racing in the next gen?
It was very exciting. New car, new drivers to race with, and a whole different experience than what you'd expect in the National Series. A lot higher competition to go against, and it's exciting to get to where I was in the race.
And racing against those drivers, it looked like a very intense night. How did you deal with moving your way through lines? Because it looked like a restrictor plate race out there. It really felt like you had to go with the line that had momentum, and that could have been very tricky a couple of times.
It was a huge mix between the two. It was all restrictor plate, but also it was also getting tight in corners like a normal race would. It was very hard to get used to play around with those sort of strategies.
So now you're going to head back to the MSRA National Series, but first of all, do you see a future for you here in the MSRA Premier Series, and how do you see your championship hopes going over there in the National Series for the remainder of the year?
In the National Series, I am in the playoffs, so I feel pretty good about making it all the way to Championship 4. I'm not sure about the championship, but hopefully I'll get a little bit quicker and be able to be a huge contender for that. And then hopefully next year move to the Premier Series to race against some of these top guys.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Podium Esports. That was your third place finisher, Great Lakes Motorsports driver Cole Hooper in the number 99. An amazing night of all-star racing ends with the 24 of Vincent Arthur in victory lane. And a lot of great upcoming events here on Podium Esports are coming up in the next week and beyond. We start with the MPI Cup Series tomorrow night for the Championship 4 at the Kansas Speedway. You can find that June 13th, 9:15 p.m. Eastern, live on twitch.tv/Podium Esports. Then, of course, Monday Night Racing on the Dirt Street Stock at Knoxville. That's June 14th on Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Podium2. PCA Sim Racing returns on Wednesday for Series 6 at Imola, June 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time over on youtube.com/PCA Sim Racing. The eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series in its final race of round number 1 starts off at Dover on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Podium Esports. And then you can join us for the next round of the MSRA Premier Series for round 19 from Road America. Find that July 4th weekend, Saturday night, July 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Podium2. An amazing night of all-star racing here in the Bearded Sim Racer All-Star Race ends with the Great Lakes Motorsports driver of Vincent Arthur grabbing the win and the $150 prize. Thank you to all of the sponsors that made tonight happen. For Bearded Sim Racer, the title sponsor, Shorba's Racing Graphics, HutchCo, FSM Customs, and Strunk PC. For Jacob Shorba at the Midwest Sim Racing Association. For James Pike, Cisco Scaramuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium Esports. For tonight's team, our producer Ryan Bauer, cameras by Dougie Beard, and for my colleague in the booth, Jacob Hitz, I am Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast. We hope to see you tomorrow night for the MPI Cup Series Championship 4 finale, live from Kansas.